changing the exterior of your home is a very big deal. And I mean, if you're like me, you go and you get a quote and it blows your hat off. You're sad. You don't think you're going to get a good job. A lot of these different people out there that are in these type of businesses might take advantage of you. Look, I got the guys for you. They're going to do an amazing job. Plenty of BDMs have used them, and you actually use them, and your house looks amazing, dude.
I used them before they were even a sponsor. Yep. Then I called up William Paisley, and I was like, hey, you have to advertise with us.
You're like, I got to work with you, buddy.
I have to tell the BDMs about this because it was amazing how affordable their quote was, and this is how easy it is to get a quote. All you have to do is, this is the number, and you have to text your name, your email address, and your home address to 321-696-5445. That's 321-696-5445. And if you text those three things, you'll get an instant quote back from Paisley Painting. Yep. All they have to use is Google Maps, and they'll see your house. So they have software. They know the square footage.
Yeah, it makes it super easy. And their staff, they do such a good job, man.
They came a couple days before, pressure washed all the outside of my house. They painted my garage door, my front door, my garage side door a different color, the soffits.
Yeah,
they taped
off. They pulled all the dirt back from the bottom of the base level of your home, and they painted all the way down.
Yeah, they trimmed out my windows.
The fact that they trimmed your windows looks so good, dude.
It made a huge difference, and I could not believe how affordable the price was. And all you have to do is text them, and you can get a free quote. It's PaisleyPainting.com. I'm telling you, professional and affordable. It's Paisley Painting. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Anything to report from the desk across the room? That's what I'm calling
nothing to report here.
All right, nothing reporting over there. Anything to report from across the console table?
Well, we're going to be doing a meetup at Cafe Da Vinci July 29th.
Yes, coming to DeLand, that's my origin spot. That's my place of birth.
True Phonic, Little Stranger are performing. It's a free show. We'll be there around 8:30 to hang out with some BDMs.
Get there a little early, have a couple beers, wait for True Phonic, wait for Little Stranger.
All free. So if you're around the DeLand area, and of course the legendary Cafe Da Vinci has been there forever, come by and hang out.
Come to the place where, before different owners, come to the place where when I was young I drank beer and wasn't old enough and smoked joints and tried to grab ass.
Yeah. Well, it was the 80s, so it was fun.
It was, that hurts. That really, you don't have to do that.
So Jeff Jones is here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So Jeff, we haven't seen you in a bit. Tell us what you've been up to, because he's sitting next to you.
He shifted gears. Have we seen you? Is this the first time you've been here post-pandemic?
Yeah.
So 2 years. And Jeff decides to, like
everybody else during the pandemic, you find a hobby and you get fat. So
you didn't get fat. You look good.
No.
You look about the same.
Well, you're insulting me now.
No.
But I thought I looked better before.
That is insulting.
That's my new thing. That is my new thing. I was thinking about this last night. My new thing on people's weight loss pictures is to go in and say, you looked better before. They love that. They love it.
Plastic surgery photos.
Yeah. I do it for all the photos. You know, if they get plastic surgery, weight loss, even if you're bleaching your skin, those can be problematic.
Yeah, you went with that nose?
Yeah, exactly. Well, look at mine.
So
any nose is better than this schnoz.
So, Jeff, what have you been up to?
I discovered I have a new hobby, and I got bored, and I was at home, like we all were. So I decorate my house in like a lot of Disney villain masks, like I bought in the 80s at the parks.
Okay.
And I had them just hanging on the wall, and I was like, well, it'd be fun to add some other ones I don't have. So I decided, well, let me order some clay online and just play around with sculpting clay. And
had you had any
sculpting?
Yeah, clay. Is this your first clay purchase?
Yeah. It was in last year. I was like, let me just do this and see what I can
order
do.
some supplies, have them shipped to my door.
But you must have known that you could do this, right? Because
I knew this was going to make him mad.
Like I never.
Because it's like you watch this guy and you never know that they're doing any type of like sculpting or any type of art. Like we knew you were an artist. We knew you were a visual artist as far as writing. We knew that you could put on a musical, a play, any type of.
Yeah, and I used to build sets and props for that kind of stuff too. So I was. I
You're
did
crafty.
make stuff.
So
Like,
you do,
and like
yeah.
at Christmas, I would go overboard outside of my house in Christmas decorations. I would make my own stuff outside too. So I could make stuff, and I can build stuff.
But
So-
sculpting seems like a whole different. Like there's one thing of like making a prop or decorating your house or making something out of wood or some other materials. But like sculpting seems like like a specific talent that only certain people inherently have. Like I think it's hard to even learn how to do that.
I think that you're being able to look at things and see proportion. And plus, I want to give a little bit of background of how we know Jeff. We know Jeff from multiple Fringe shows. Before that, just independent shows that you would put on that are just wildly funny, crazy, outrageous comedies. The Little Miss Parliament House is probably the one that I'm ticking the boxes here right now.
Animatronicans.
And the Animatronicans, but I mean, these are some of the
stand up for 15 years.
Yeah,
so,
and a stand-up comedian for, he's been doing it for forever.
It's hard to say when you're really good at so many things.
But seriously.
How do you pick one?
Well, but this is something that are people like Tom and I, that when they started seeing you create these sculptures, were they like, just like us, like, oh my God, where'd this come from?
Oh, I was the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
So you buy this clay, you Amazon it to the door, and then who's the first person or creature you decide?
I did a Jafar from Aladdin.
Okay.
Just to play around with that, because he had an interesting face. And I go by looking at faces and characters that have an interesting face.
Okay.
Because I think it's more fun. And I'm nothing I do is realistic looking. It's all kind of cartoonish. Even the real people
It's
here
fun, though.
are kind of, so I kind of came up with ideas like 3-dimensional caricatures of people in characters and stuff, because I don't go for exactly the same look.
So sort of like the dude holding his wife on a surfboard that
Exactly.
you got airbrushed at Universal,
Exactly.
and you do that, but it seems like that would take more clay than a regular, because it's more crazy.
No, but you don't have to get your proportions exactly right, and you don't have to go for perfection. You don't have to go for symmetry. It can be a little off. It can be a little weird. It can be a little fun.
Okay, so you started doing Jafar.
I started doing Jafar, and then I kind of liked it, and I would, I get different clays to figure out which ones I like and try different materials, and then I just started doing another one, and then I did another one, and then somebody messaged me and was like, "Hey, I saw you're selling this stuff." I'm like, "I'm not selling it, but if you want it." And it's like, but he bought like a house in Kissimmee that he was turning into a vacation rental that was all theme park Disney themed.
A lot of people are doing that. Yeah.
Those are big.
The Brazilians love those. Yeah.
So
I love those. My house is that.
Well, all the Brazilians love them more. just based on numbers.
So it started I started having to do more, and then people were messaging me about, we like custom stuff, and so now it's sort of gotten to a point where I've redone some of the ones I've done originally, and they just got better. So
give us the listeners and ourselves like a rundown of like the ones that you've done, just to give them an idea of some of the
characters. I tried to do all different demographics. I first started out with just Disney, which is cartoony and fun,
sure,
and that's fine. But I'm like, well, a lot of the people I get messages from are either Disney fans, comic book fans, sci-fi fans, horror fans.
Like the Cruella de Vil, I love. But I used to rescue Dalmatians, so I see that when it speaks to me. I'm that's terrifying.
I did the Disney villains, and then I was like, well, let me try something different here. And I think the first one I did that was not a Disney one, I did the Joker from Batman. So
that's cool.
But I kind of was like, which one do I do? Because there's how many versions of the Joker from Batman? So I kind of I loved the old Adam West 1960s TV show.
Who was
Batman.
that? Burgess Meredith?
That was Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero.
And
yeah.
so, but I do like the darker looking comic-y book version of the Joker too. So I'm like, well, let me just combine a bunch of them together and do like a darker, crazier looking Joker.
Do your
own Joker. He still has some Cesar Romero. He even has a little bit of a fake of the mustache covered under the makeup. So it just sort of kept going, and then somebody asked me to do Muppets, so I did Statler and Waldorf for the Fringe Festival.
They're great.
And then a custom order for Miss Piggy, so I said that, and then I was like, well, let me try to do something scary to get the horror people involved. So I did Norman Bates, which is here sort of as Norman Bates dressed as his mom.
It's
too.
So good, man.
And I painted him in black and white because the movie's in black and white.
And it works so well too. Yeah. And the only standout, and I don't know if you can see it on our tiny cameras here, but the only splash of color, pun intended, is blood.
There's a little bit of blood on.
A little bit of blood. It's well done, man.
Little bit of blood.
Yeah, it's so good.
And he actually, until somebody decides, and I've got a few people who've asked me about it, but I'm running out of wall space in my house because I can only hang so many before somebody comes and gets them or I have to ship them out.
Yeah.
So for this one, I'm like, well, it would be the best place to obviously display Norman Bates dressed as his mom with a knife in his hand is in the bathroom. So he's literally in my guest room bathroom right next to the shower.
That's fantastic.
That won't scare your guests.
Yeah.
He's hanging above the toilet, so when you stand to pee, it's your direct eye contact.
I love that.
Stare down.
Yeah.
Well, we have a crazy bathroom, and I like looking around and seeing cool stuff. Yeah, I think that's fun.
Well,
We have Butler in our bathroom still. We got to get rid of that thing.
Maybe
right?
we could get a Clay Butler in there.
Well, it also scares you for the first dozen times you walk in there until your brain gets used to the knowing that some human-like figure is in the dark bathroom, and you turn the lights on. You're like, oh, and weird. Your brain acclimates to it, and then you don't notice anymore.
Yeah.
Let's talk Clay for a second, because clay is weird in the fact that they still use clay for auto manufacturers and stuff like that, where they'll release a design for the new 2025 Ford Festiva or whatever, and they're like, here's a 1/18th scale clay version of
some guy in there wet sanding it slowly, but as they blow smoke over the top of it to show you how aerodynamic it is.
But then I always look at it, I'm like, we got computers. Why are they building it from clay?
Just
like,
3D print it.
But they still use it for some reason. I don't know why, but it's still.
I think it's easy to
for
fix.
engineering.
Because if you're standing there looking at it, it's still before it dries or hardens. And some clay just doesn't harden at all; it stays soft until you either fire it or.
That's like me.
But
I'm a stay soft. I'm stay soft clay.
But you can still move it.
I'm on
if you don't like this, way this angle is, you can just push it a little bit and go, that looks better. It's the same thing before these dry solid, and I don't like the way the cheeks are, I can tweak it a little bit, and then that works.
So do you ever tweak too much and you're like, I ruined it?
I have,
yeah.
and that sucks.
Because you're overworking it. It's like pizza dough at some point, right? It's like at some point you're like, this will not get any better. Maybe you've been into it too long. You've been looking at it for 2 hours.
You got to walk away.
Really?
Walk away.
Yeah.
Anybody who does art, they sketch, painting, even writing a show, you got to walk away and give it a few minutes.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you just do it.
Well, let's talk about your process. So does all this, does it just start with a block of clay and then you just start molding it?
I think Tom and I, where we're so confused is that you've never done this before. You buy a blob of clay, you put it in front of you, and then an hour later you have this great thing.
Do you have the picture on?
You never knew you could do that?
Do you so say Jafar, right? So do you bring up a picture of Jafar and then you put you print it out, you put it up on a board, and then you just look at it and then you mold the clay? Do you do it from?
No, I look at pictures. Yeah,
okay.
But what I'll do is a lot of times, especially now that I've gotten into doing real people, is I will Google. We can find anything out there, but I'll Google caricature drawings of a celebrity and then actual photos of the celebrity. So I'll look at 4 or 5 different pictures in front of me just to get the basic idea of a face layout, how the cheek moves to this side. And it's so weird now too. Now that I've been doing this for the last year or so, is when I go out and I'm out and about, I look at people's faces. Completely different now.
Don't look at mine.
Don't look at me. Well, you have an interesting face. Tom's generic white.
I know. I don't know that
boring general.
You know what? I'm gonna start tanning myself a lot.
Yes. I've been wanting this.
The hair, that's something else, though.
No,
Is it still working with the mousse?
What do you got? Wax in there?
I use the wrong. No, it's a pomade again.
It looks like clay. Actually, it looks like you have clay hair.
I can sculpt that.
I need a more interesting face. I have.
You need to tan yourself.
Tattoos.
You need
get some tattoos on your face.
Yeah, you need to tan yourself, and you need a mohawk.
I'll get cheek implants.
Yeah. I've started doing
lip
some
fillers.
plastic surgery.
Yeah. Why don't you wear colored contacts and get a tongue ring?
I need a more pronounced.
You need a tongue ring and a bird on your shoulder.
I have a weak, droopy like chin. That's not.
You have a soft chin.
Yeah.
Is that you have a chin at least? Though you do have it.
I don't think I have a chin. Sometimes my face just becomes neck, all neck.
No,
I'm
you
like
got
a neck
beard,
with hair on the top of it.
So Jeff, like, do you just start off like the clay is just a brick of clay? And
It is a block. I don't start with the block. I start with like when I first started, I used like styrofoam wig heads because I figured that would make it lighter. So I put the clay over that, and then when they would dry, is like the moisture out of the clay, it leaves because it's drying. It would start cracking on me, and I was never sure why it would crack. I thought it was the quality of the clay or anything. Then I took a sculpting class earlier this year in Winter Park, and the guy was showing us what to do to build like a fake skull to do underneath, and he's like using newspaper and masking tape just to build it because it has give to it, and when the clay shrinks, it absorbs it. So I've been doing that ever since, and I haven't had any cracking issues. So literally underneath these guys, it's a PVC pipe covered with balled up newspaper and masking tape.
Weird.
So it's amazing to me that you tried to do the better thing by getting the wig head and then put the clay on that. Doesn't work. Too rigid. Too solid. And then so you needed. How would you? That's crazy that you take a class and then you learn. No, just use the newspaper. It'll
ball up newspaper.
It'll work perfectly.
Don't have to spend money and buy a styrofoam head. Just ball up newspaper.
Nobody even reads a newspaper. It's made for clay. I don't know. Get a couple weeklies, stuff it in there. Vote for yourself, best comedian.
How long does it take you to like from start to finish one of these?
One of them usually about 5 to 7 days. The biggest time is for them to dry. It takes like 3 to 4 days for them to fully dry.
That's a long time.
Can paint it. And then also I discovered after I started painting the first few, someone said, "Oh, you should try airbrushing because you can get better details with the shading stuff." So I'm like, all right. So I bought a cheap airbrush to try it. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
And then you started learning how to airbrush.
I learned how to airbrush.
Different art.
But you didn't know how to airbrush.
I had no idea how to airbrush. I mean, I'm not going to be out there airbrushing anybody's van
but it
anytime
looks awesome.
soon. But
I mean,
can do details.
Yeah,
so.
but
this is making you mad, isn't it?
Well, no,
a little bit.
No, because this is a classic example of like there's some.
It's like Michael Jordan plays baseball.
Yeah,
Like, oh, there he goes. Of course he knows how to do it.
There's some athlete that's a tall kid that has the correct proportions. He's 6'2", 230, and then some NFL coach.
He could have picked any Major League Baseball team he wanted to play for.
He can play any sport, really. Except for ice hockey, he didn't learn how to skate or whatever. He's got the abilities. And Jeff Jones, you had the artistic ability. Where you just pick up sculpting, you airbrush. I can never do this. I don't have the ability, no matter how much. It would take me the rest of my life to even get 1/10 as good as Jeff Jones if I practice every day, because it's some sort of
it's just not
genetic ability you have to look at. When I can't even understand when a sculptor takes something and then even when I see people draw, remember the guy on TikTok that he can draw all 10 characters of one person at the same time with a Sharpie with a stick, and it's connected to a bunch of Sharpies.
He moves each one independently. I hate that guy.
It was like I'm like, this is that's a magic trick. That can't be real.
Yeah.
No one can do that, and this guy does it. It's like people can do things that are so amazing to me. I can't even comprehend how do they even visualize that and see it through to the end.
What's the hardest part of visualizing, when you start, what's the hardest part of visualizing your character?
The sides of the profiles.
Okay.
Because you work front only, and then when it's done, all of a sudden you turn to the side and go, oh, that looks like crap.
Yeah, and then
it looks like everything's not even, and it's like, okay, so now I've had to realize that, I need to go all 3 sides.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because even when you look at your own face, you don't necessarily think, what do I look like only from this side?
You know what's funny is I always check this. I look at myself and I look at this side and then I look at this side because I'm a weirdo.
Which side's your good side?
This side. My right side. And I face the bad side to the camera and it drives me crazy. I sit here and I'm like, oh, you're on your bad side. What's a bad side to me?
Right.
My wife says every side of me is bad.
You know what's weird?
But
I don't think she says that.
Yeah, she does. You don't hear her. You're not there. You don't know me.
That's true.
My wife gets car sick, so I'm always riding passenger in long car rides.
Hold on a second.
That's what doesn't like
That's what I used to say, too, and it was because I was always drunk.
But the right side of my face got sun damage like a trucker because if I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and then I'm like, what? I've noticed, my right side...
You got DUI face.
The right side of my face is sun damaged more than the left side. Anyway, so, Jeff, how did you realize, I know you mentioned at the beginning that that some people started reaching out to you wanting to buy.
Yeah, because this is like it's not a hobby anymore, right? Or
it's still a hobby. I mean,
but it's becoming a little better than a hobby.
Yeah, I mean, because I did one, the one last couple of weeks, I did a Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation.
Have you seen that one?
No.
Do you have a photo of that?
I have him on here.
Yeah, just so you can show the guy. It's so good. It lights up. It's him like where he's, I believe it's him where he's proud. He's plugging everything in. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
And I posted it in a group of people who are addicted to decorating their house for Christmas.
Sure.
And
Norman's falling down. I don't want him to break his wig or whatever.
Or stab you on accident.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be bad if one of your sculptures came to life and killed you on our couch.
That's unfair. But no, and so they all started messaging me, like, oh, well, can I get one? Can I get one? So I'm like, now I got a bunch of people. You can go down here.
How do you do? Okay. This is what I'm curious about, Jeff.
So now he's going to start selling.
Well, okay. Let's talk about the business part.
And then you got to get the wardrobe to match the character.
And he did such a good job. And this one lights up and flickers, right? Like the Griswold.
Yeah, I added Christmas lights to it. But
so he's
some of the costumes I make, some of them I'll buy online, and like the Beetlejuice costume is a regular Halloween costume.
Sure, it's great though.
But it was bright white and black when I got it, so I airbrushed the aging onto it. So
That's so cool.
It is beyond cool, dude.
So it fascinates me how artists price their work, because it's all over the place and it's subjective and it depends on lots of different
time
things.
spent, vision, materials.
Because it's not a normal market.
What you offer.
Like, I understand business and markets, and usually the market is determined by obviously the environment and like demand, and so but it's also in the art world based on the artists themselves, right? How popular that artist is.
Sure.
And also demand,
and when you die,
and exactly. Oh, then a real skyrockets.
I'm gonna die.
No, don't say that.
But then it's how do you even, like, when someone wanted to buy your first piece? How did you even determine what to price it?
Oh, I had no clue.
That's an honest answer too, because
no clue.
We kind of do that and did do that with, like, what do you charge for a podcasting commercial? Yeah, we're in the same boat, because it's like it's not something that people do, but it's very rare. It's weird. Like, what do you charge for a hand sculpted hangable wall bust?
It was anywhere between like $250 for one, because I was like, these are old ones. I wouldn't mind getting rid of this one so I can redo it.
Yeah.
So, but then
they're big.
But some of the other ones I'm getting into, it's like $500.
Yes, exactly.
And then other people look at me and go,
too little.
It does. Me too.
I get that a lot too.
That's a lot. I mean, $500 for me seems extreme. For that Beetlejuice, $500 is reasonable. I mean, that is. You better snatch that up now.
Custom made. Like, sometimes I'll be like,
I see the statues that these nerds buy, man.
I know. I've been to
Comic
Comic-Cons and I've been to Spooky Empires.
Yeah, I mean, Butler, when he worked here, would buy these statues like $700, for a tiny little 12-foot. Or not 12-foot, 12-inch, Spider-Man.
Yeah. And there's paintings that I'll be like, this painting looks like $18,000. $18,000.
So, but again, but you may want to reasonably price them so people can collect a bunch of them.
And I'm also right now reasonably pricing them, because I've not been doing this for a year. Mm-hmm. So it's practice. So and it gets it's hard for me also to, while I'm doing them, not get too attached to liking them, because I'm like, they need to go. It's terrible that it's like adopting a child and going, it's like foster kids for me.
Or if, like, is it that way when, like, let's take Norman for instance. Let's say you learned something on this one, like you were doing the mouth and then you learned a technique from your class or an airbrushing thing. It would be very difficult. You know how emotional I am. You guys all know I'm an emotional guy. It would be hard for me once I learned something on that. Now I'm sort of connected to it, right? I don't want to get rid of that one. That's the one that taught me how to, I don't know, smush it this way or airbrush that way.
No, at this point, I've talked myself into 90% of them, like, they can go.
Yeah, because it's all up here.
They can go because I can just make another.
You can do it again.
I can do it again.
So Jeff, if we were going to commission a piece from you and for Sam for her birthday next year, because Sam...
Oh, I thought you were going to have him build a Sam for us.
I mean, those two would be actually fun.
If you will, back to us.
Damn it,
I want one for us.
We could put them in the Air T&D.
Yeah.
And we could put a card there that says if you want to buy one of these.
I mean, they're great for selfies. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
See, I'm selling right now.
I'd rather have a nude Sam.
Okay, well now I'm back to Sam.
Yeah, I knew you would be. I want a big. Biggest.
Now, boobs are hard. Boobs are not easy.
That's not what's hard on me.
Mine are real. They're not hard.
Yeah, you can make them big clay. You know what? Just put the clay there. I'll take care of making them boobs.
So it would be cool to have a cartoon Tom and Dan face commissioned full.
Have you had any strange ones? Have you had any where people have reached out to you yet and said like, "Hey, I want you to make my wife or make my husband"? Or
No, I'm afraid of those.
I thought you might be
because if a caricature could either
go wrong.
You can go real.
It can go sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that people do it. You know, I see those things online where it's like, draw my pet or something. You know?
I've thought about doing people's pets too because people are obsessed with their pets.
And
so
if you made them a full, make them human. It's no different than those paintings that were the rage about 5 years ago. Where
creepy with the dogs and clothes.
Yeah, like a dog who's an admiral of a boat. Well, all right.
Let's talk villains for a second. Disney villains. And Sam knows a lot about Disney villains. Now, Jafar, you mentioned, like, that's an iconic Disney villain that I feel like is got to be on the top.
He's bad news.
Top 5 Disney
He's
villains.
A bad
of all
hombre.
But who else am I missing here?
Oh my God, there's so many Disney villains.
Who's an iconic Disney villain?
Fire is a
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella,
Captain Hook is probably one.
Captain Hook. Okay,
which I've done all of those. But again, I go to the interesting faces.
How about Scar from Lion King?
I've not done an animal one yet. I've done Sir Hiss, the snake, little sidekick snake from Robin Hood. I did that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
But because I kind of
would be good too.
Ursula. I did Ursula.
Oh, you did Ursula?
Have you seen his Ursula?
No,
it's great, and it is big.
She's not on here, but I can pull her up.
Yeah,
though.
she's good.
But,
who's the villain from Pocahontas? I feel.
Oh, that fat dude with the 2 ponytails. Yeah. Who's that guy? Who's the fat dude with the ponytails? That guy looks like he works at a baseball card shop.
He runs a comic book.
Yeah,
store,
like he's got the 2 little.
John Ratcliffe.
Yeah, that guy's horrible. I watched that movie with Maisie the other day. It was on, and we just watched it. That is a horrible movie.
No, the worst one is Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If you ever watched that movie, in the first
scary.
in the first 5 minutes, he chases down a family, kills the mom, and threatens to throw the baby into a well and kill it.
Oh, yeah,
This was 1990s Disney.
You're right.
And people are complaining now that it's not family friendly.
Right.
You tried to kill a baby in the first 5 minutes of a movie.
Yeah, and now the biggest villain is a grandma that
Steps on a
Breaks the
guitar.
guitar.
I hate her, though. Why'd you have to bring her up? That scene, for whatever reason, and I hate this word because it's been stolen and killed, but it triggers me when I see that lady throw the guitar down. It breaks my heart for the kid. It crushes
he used to
me.
throw babies.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's guitar. Now in Encanto, there's not even a villain.
Yeah,
Yes, there is. That grandmother is the evil.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
She just wants to keep her family
Have you
together.
heard my Encanto theory? My
Selfish.
Encanto, like my second part of
that
Encanto, like
bad.
I want to be in charge of Encanto too because I've said this
That
to you
sounds
guys.
like a gastrointestinal
It does.
disease.
But here's
I've
what
got
happens.
Encanto too.
So the whole village, they're being held hostage by these superpower family that live on the hill, and they protect the village. We got to kill all the superpowers. It's kind of like the boys. We got to kill the whole family because they're extorting us. They're stealing our stuff. We need to be independent from this family. Mm-hmm. We got to kill them. Kill every single one of them.
I might be down with
The
that.
kids, everybody. You got to just murder the whole family, burn the house to the ground, and then we're free.
That's probably what's going on.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like,
Well, I think that's why they had to make their own village in the first place, is because white settlers were killing their village.
no, I know, but then they live
So
up,
then Dan's gonna
they
just
live
kill
up
them
there
again.
in a talking mansion. Then I'm down here working every day.
But also, how long have they been living around the magical mountains? What if things have changed?
Yeah.
What if it's the future?
You bring up
How
a
old is
great point.
Grandma?
Is there another family on the other side of the mountain they don't know
Then
about?
it's like the village.
Yeah. Then you have to fight them with your superpowers.
But what's those superpowers? Some of those superpowers they had
We're
were just-
bad.
They're
Like
super-
I can hear.
Yeah.
I can hear. I can
really
hear.
good.
I can hear really good.
And then I'll bring up the most problematic thing is a little shape-shifting boy turns into a smaller version of his dad, which means that he has his dad's ding-dong, which is so problematic. Like, you mean to tell
That's
me that
weird.
if I could shapeshift into any one of you guys that I wouldn't immediately run to the bathroom and look at my pants?
But let's talk about that creepy house. the bathroom.
Yes.
The house comes alive and
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
You're
They're
right,
looking
Jeff.
at
It's
you.
blowing my mind. I never thought about it.
Is the toilet alive?
Yeah, you go in there, the house is like you're sitting on my eyeball.
does the toilet.
Oh, man, you changed it for me. You ruined my,
Why do we talk about
You've
that?
ruined my Thursday.
The toilet burps. The toilet burps.
Oh, my
instead.
God. Okay, stop.
So,
Disgusting.
so Jeff, is it just you market these
The
through
chat
like,
room just said, dude. That's all they said.
like
know what that means.
Reddit blogs and like Facebook pages and like how do you market
Facebook groups seem to be the thing, and it's because it's the people who want
Like-minded,
the most. It's Halloween and Christmas people.
Gotcha.
It's people who, and just doing the Clark Griswold. I was like, well, this is just doing it for fun because I decorate my house for Christmas, and people went crazy. I'm like, there's so many options at Christmas time now that I could do stuff for. Because as soon as I did the Clark, people were like, oh, you need to do the Cousin Eddie, the Randy Quaid character.
Oh, that's going to be, that would be amazing.
And then the bathrobe.
Sure, with the hat. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
if you put up that Clark Griswold that you made,
That's $1,000 all day long.
you couldn't leave it out in your front
No.
yard, right?
No,
Like,
no,
yeah.
no.
You'd
But-
have to put it in a window with some sort of display.
Kind of like I have the holographic, well, no holographs, but I have the pumpkins that sing.
Yeah.
When you project onto the
Yeah.
real pumpkins, but you can't leave that stuff
No,
even in a
people-
decent neighborhood. People will nick anything, man.
Yeah,
They're
people
crazy.
stealing everything,
We have to bring it in every night.
Every night.
No, you can leave the projection.
No, dude, I
thing
left it out. I left it out there one night, and somebody walked by and tampered with it, unplugged everything,
Yeah.
and pushed it in the bushes.
People were stealing. Christmas.
shoved it in the bushes.
Just pushed it in the
Why'd
bushes.
they do that?
Well, at least they didn't steal it.
I mean, but they will. I mean,
They
you
stole
leave-
EJ's Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Well, he lives in a bad neighborhood.
Well, okay.
He's poor.
So, and I got one last question for you. Like, I mean, you've done a lot of Fringe, a lot of shows, a lot of stand-up. Is this the new thing? Is this where you're at now?
Yeah, because I'm an old gay man, so it's either we travel, we do art, or we garden. It's too hot to garden,
really is.
and I can't afford to travel. So this is I just now wear Hawaiian shirts and sit in my living room.
Cooler
I like
than
that.
nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my future now. There's only three options.
Wait a
once you're
minute.
over
You
40.
do that.
I know. I
You're
was
an
thinking
old
about,
gay man.
I want to hang out with old gay men. because,
You're there.
because I will. I mean,
All he does is garden.
You'll
we'll
do the
garden
gardening.
together. We'll
Yeah.
plant. Yeah.
We just do stuff around the house, and then we go.
Yeah.
We will occasionally go out to dinner at like 5. And
Oh, I
in
love
bed,
an early
in bed
dinner.
at 10.
Yeah.
The latest.
Wait a minute.
Are you a
I'm an
vegetarian?
old gay man now.
No.
No, so you have someone to eat meat with.
Yeah, I like Hawaiian shirts too. I feel like you'll appreciate my plants, Jeff. No one else does. You'll
I do. I gave you nothing but
No, you
My
don't.
angel
You-
trump is flourishing now, by the way.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they make that in some tea and blow your pants off.
If people wanted to get in touch with you, if they wanted to commission something, is that something you're
Yeah,
doing?
that's why I prefer stuff that people want to.
Where can people get at you?
Just go to my website. So it's got caricature, like the sketch art. It's got caricature.com, or just Jeff Jones Comedy takes to my old website that still has comedy dates from 2020 on it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You made a lot of people happy in the chat room, man.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
loving the art.
Jeff, I
Well
will
done.
say we will pay you to commission a Tom and Dan, and we'll put it in our AirT&D.
It would be great.
Yeah, because I want to put some more art.
Dude, the
in there.
perfect area for it when you walk in where the
Yeah.
on-air light is, you have it flank the on-air lights, and then that way people, when they first walk in, can get a photo.
What would be fun and cool too is if you guys if you have a specific shirt or hat you want your guys to have on, and I'll put that.
Oh, I'll give you one of my hats and a shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and you got an extra one of those? Like a polo?
yeah. I'll give you
I'll put your clothes on them.
I have
Yeah,
an
that's
older
awesome.
I have an older T&D Media one that we can use.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be cool. And we'll pay you for it and put them in the
Sounds
AirT&D
good.
as an advertisement with a little, maybe put a QR there. So people
Yeah,
can hit
yeah.
it and then go to
It'll be very popular.
gotcaricature.com.
Be a very popular selfie situation.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Jeff, thanks so much. for
Always
coming
a
by.
pleasure
it's
seeing
fun.
you. Gotcaricature.com. Is there anything else?
I think that's it. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
I see that you are wearing, well, it was last week's featured item. It was the Tom and Dan BDM all mesh hat, which is a collaboration with our good friends at Villain. Now, if you don't know what Villain is, it's a tiny little homegrown surf company that they make great clothing, they make great coffee, and they do a lot of good within the community. And Mark Villain, our friend, he's kind of grown this clothing company into like a powerhouse house on the coast.
Yeah,
like he is
in
crushing
Satellite.
it. Yeah, in Satellite Beach, he is just he's the guy, and we were lucky enough to get to collaborate with Villain. So go to our website tomandan.com/merchandise and check out all that we have to offer with our Villain collaboration.
At the Orlando Improv, he's got 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Comedian John Reeps on the line. How you doing, John?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing good, thank you. How's it going?
Good, man. Really, really good. Good to see you, and glad that you'll be making your way to Orlando. And before we got on the line, we were talking a little bit about the theme parks and how fun they can be, and some of the new stuff that you're going to try and check out when you're here in town.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you've done a Disney trip?
Probably 15 years, something like that.
Yeah. You got a lot.
But I love it. I mean, I'm not really a huge theme park person. It's more about the Star Wars experience or Galaxy's Edge that's there that I have to visit. I'm really just a Star Wars guy. So, and I looked online. Me and my buddy Brent Blakeney, that's my feature act. You'll see him at the Improv. Very funny guy. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall, so he's kind of like the Chewbacca, and I kind of look like Obi-Wan Kenobi with the ginger beard and stuff. So we were going to make a day of it, and I went online, and it's sold out on a Thursday. I had no idea that it would be sold out. That's stupid on my part. I should have planned ahead. But if there's anyone listening who wants to hook me up, please holler at me.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some things here and try to make that happen.
So, John, tell us about Country-ish.
Oh, Country-ish right there. That's my podcast. It's also a live YouTube and Facebook show. It's kind of like a hybrid between a podcast and a TV show. We have segments on there. We have celebrities on there. Every comedian that that I know has already zoomed into my show. We've had all of them. We do. I give money away. So nice. I have. You guys know I've done some acting here and there.
Yeah.
I get these residual checks in the mail all the time, and I thought I'd make a game out of it. So what I do is it's a live show, so I don't know how much is in this envelope that my buddy passes across the table. I open the envelope, I read what it's for, what show it's from, and how they're airing it. People call in, guess the amount, closest person. I literally sign the check and mail that check to them. I don't know if they can cash it. I have no idea. But I put their name on it, endorsed John Reep. Send it in the mail. It's got my social security number on there. I'm sure.
I like that, John. I'm trusting like you are. John, tell me how you feel about this. I feel like most people, the majority of people, are good, and we get influenced by what we see, like horrible people online or social media.
Well, it's not even real. A lot of it, really, a lot of it's not even rooted in anything authentic. It's just almost for a rise.
I saw a post the other day that someone just posted, "People are horrible," like on their social media, and then I'm like, that's horrible.
Right.
That
Happy
person,
Tuesday, everybody.
That person thinks that.
I'm sorry, I felt that way that day.
But like one person was horrible to you. Why are you taking it out on all people? But I think it's human nature to see something bad and be like, "Oh, everybody's bad." Do you think the same way I do, John?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think good people attract other good people. So it's like the people who like me. They know that I'm kind of a cool, nice fella, and so they probably are that as well. So when I give money away, I'm not worried they're going to try and steal my identity.
Yeah, hopefully your own fans wouldn't screw you over.
Yeah. So, but I also think the opposite's true. So bad people attract bad people. So when someone writes, like people are horrible, it's like, okay, and you're probably one of those people.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, John, I know it's been a while since we had you in, and I see all the stuff you're doing, and I noticed that you do a cruise, the Reeps Peeps cruise.
I got so excited about that because, John, I don't know if you know this, but we've done... How many have we done? We did 6 different Tom and Dan cruises.
Yeah. And
they're awesome. Oh, my God. I want to go on the Repeat cruise.
Well, the pandemic kind of stopped that a couple of years ago. Our last cruise got canceled like 2 years in a row. We finally had to pivot, do something else. And we may go back and do them again. But tell us about your experience with your cruises, with your listeners. And because I'll tell you some common thing that happens on every cruise that we go on.
Oh, yeah. Well, this will be the third one coming up November 2023. Traditionally, it's just been me and some of my friends from the Countryish podcast.
Nice.
Would come on, and whatever fan wants to do it. You know, we don't have the whole ship to ourselves. It's a package that it's Royal Caribbean. We sail out of Port Canaveral, and this year, the first time we did it was a 3-day cruise, just testing the waters. And then we did it again as a 5-day, and this time it's going to be a 7-day.
Nice.
COVID kind of screwed us up too, because a lot of people who like me are anti-vax people, you know, and so it's like you had to be vaccinated to get on the ship. My own brother didn't go last time, but we still did it, and a lot of people came on. We had the whole. I mean, that one was like having the whole ship to ourselves because there were more staff on that ship than people, you know, so that was awesome. There were no lines anywhere. We had a great time. But this year, it's not just me. So I'm doing, I have 2 other comedians on there. I've got John Heffron and Reno Collier.
Nice.
And it's 3 comedians sailing to Mexico. We're calling it the Sea Amigos Cruise.
I love it.
And we're going to do comedy, karaoke, podcasting, all the meeting and greeting you can do. And it's going to like Coco Cay, that private island that Royal Caribbean has, which is a lot of fun. And it's just a lot of hanging out and just, you know, meeting your friends and fans.
Well, John, I was going to mention that we did the same exact thing. Like, we didn't have the whole ship. We just did a big group, which is actually a better way to do it. Your listeners and the people that go, your guests, get actually a better deal doing it that way. Like, the whole, when you get the whole boat, like with the 5th man and like the rock cruise and stuff, like those are expensive.
There's also no escape. It's like if you did want some downtime, like if you did want to breathe or not, you know, I mean, like it'd be nice to be able to go to the casino and just do something. You know, sometimes you can't when it's.
But John, tell me if this is what your experience has been. The first day when people get on the boat,
oh man,
like just when before you even leave,
you're blacked out.
Everybody goes hard, John.
Yeah,
everybody they go up and they're
so excited.
The Caribbean
band, you 3 full days to recover.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I learned my lesson. Like the first couple cruises, I did the same thing everybody else is doing: is get obliterated. The first day, and then the next 2 days I'm poisoned because I forget. I'm like, oh man, I'm not 21 anymore. Like my body can't recover. And have you noticed that where people black out?
Yes. We learned that the hard way as well. The first 3-day cruise we did an event every day, and that first day, like you said, blackout drunk, and it was tough. Then the next time we said, all right, day 1, let's all just do like a cocktail hour, all of us together. We'll get blackout together, and then day 2, nothing. Just
recovery
do what you want. And you're right, the ship has its own things. I mean, even if you get tired of hanging out with me and the stuff I got going on, there's a million other things you could do on the ship.
Yes.
You know?
If you're hungover, sometimes you just need to sit in a ballroom that's dark and just kind of tuck in while while Russian dancers are doing a tribute to America on the stage. That's fine with me.
I have this one fan from Arizona. He used to be a motocross guy. And like he goes hard, right? And for whatever reason, he loves Irish car bombs.
Okay.
And so I think it was that first night. There was this Irish pub on the ship where we all ended up randomly, and he was just buying Irish car bomb after Irish car bomb, and it was, you know, that next day we learned our lesson. No more events day 2.
Yeah, that can be bad if and then you have something scheduled. Normally the way we would do it is we'd be drunk first day, second day morning, 9 a.m. live podcast. Live. Whose idea was that? Like, oh, here we go, live podcast. This is going to be the funniest thing you've ever seen. Oh my God.
It's easy to plan stuff. You're planning 6 months in the future. We're like, we'll do this and
Scavenger
this and
hunt, 6 a.m.
and then when you're on, we're like, why did we do this? And even the listeners, they're like,
they don't even show up.
They're like, it's too early. I'm hungover. Why did you plan so much? And we're like,
Tony, reel it back.
Yeah.
Is it weird to you now to have been like one of the guys, at least that I remember, that's been doing podcasting for an extremely long time? like you, John Heffron, who still he will Instagram message me in the middle of the night sometimes, and it's very weird. And I'll reply to him, and then he'll never reply back. But he's the nicest man, and hopefully he'll be rolling back through here like you are too. But is it weird for you to have been doing podcasting as long as you have? Because like now you have people that are just like this year deciding, you know what, I'm going to do a podcast. You know, like, you've been doing it for a very long time, have you not?
Yes, I've not been fully committed. I would dabble here and there and then pull out. You know, I was not like 100% in until I moved. About 4 years ago, I had to leave Los Angeles. I sold my house, moved back home. My dad had a stroke, and now he's paralyzed on his left side, and he lives in a skilled nursing facility. My mother, 77 years old, has got glaucoma, brittle bones. She's never lived by herself. So I thought I'd move back home and park it with them for a while. And now I'm out of L.A. I'm like, I got to do something. Then a pandemic happens, and I couldn't even leave if I wanted to. So I had to. I was like, well, now's the time to go all in on podcasting. And so luckily, a high school friend who lives in Hickory, who also has his own little podcast network, he's got all the equipment that anybody else has. And he's got his own little studio. He says, well, let's just do something together. And that was 4 years ago.
That's awesome.
It used to be called Fried.
Yeah.
Me and Sarah Tiana called it Fried. But then when I left and she got busy doing other stuff, I said, let's just rebrand it. Now it's country-ish. That's always been my brand. It's like, Blackish for rednecks. It's country-ish. I'm a little bit country, a little bit not really. You know what I mean? Like I survived Los Angeles for 18 years, but now I'm really this Hickory boy. So it's a little bit of that. I'm a Metro Jethro. You guys know that.
Yeah. I love that, though. I love that.
Well, let's talk about your hot sauce for a second. Your Hickory hot sauce. When did you start that?
That was random, too. I was going into a radio station in Charlotte to do press, and one of the guys was an engineer guy. He's one of these guys that does everything. Like, he used to be a fireman. He's got his own hot sauce company. He does ghost tours at a distillery that's haunted. He's like Kramer, he's got everything going on. But because he was an ex-fireman, he actually started making really good sauce. And he came to me and says, you need your own hot sauce. I go, well, that's not a bad idea. The word hickory right there, hickory's a flavor. I'm a ginger. My last name is Reap. There's a Carolina Reaper.
All right.
I mean, there's so much we could do with that.
My God, that came together so naturally.
Yeah. And so I jokingly said, well, you do it and I'll talk about it. And I didn't think he would do it. He showed up. And here's the thing. I thought maybe this would be a novelty, that it would be like, oh, you just took, Texas Pete and poured it into a different bottle. This stuff is fantastic. And everyone thinks, oh, it's just because it's John Reap. It's goofy. You try it one time, and you will be hooked on it, because it's not too hot. It's hot, a little flavor. I mean, it's mostly flavor, but just a little bit of heat. I don't like this novelty stuff that burns all the taste buds out of your tongue, and you can't, and you're crying and there's snot. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit of heat, but a lot of flavor, and that's what this is.
I like that. Do you know how many bottles you've sold, or is it like you just go to the website and pick some up?
Yeah, just go to the website. It's basically my website, johnreap.com. You can get it there. It takes you to his website. I told him, I said, let's just try it out for a year and you make your money back, because I've not done anything. Like he makes the hot sauce. He buys the ingredients. He buys the bottles. He does it all himself. I said, make your money back. And then after a year, let's talk about it. But it's catching on really good.
That's awesome.
I should probably renegotiate.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
John, we'll end with this. I just thought of something, because with your brand and what you do and your audience, because we're obviously in Florida, and we see,
we have a lot of John Reap fans around here.
There's a huge...
You are most commented on our bathroom. I don't know if you know that, because people just know your name. So, and it's prominent in our bathroom. So when people walk in there, they go, oh, John Reap was here. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's the John.
And John, I'm sure you're familiar with these, but they do these huge mudding festivals here in Florida, where they do Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras is huge.
And other just gigantic mudding events where they'll have in really the actual mudding area is not that big, but it's like, the water down or
you have some four-wheeler adjacent, some side-by-sides. You'll have some big trucks out there.
But there'll be like 8,000 people. Because it's gigantic. And I always think to myself, I'm like, I wonder if like John Reap organized one of these things and sets up a stage, and then you do some comedy, have some mudding in the background. Like, I feel like there's money.
I would go to a John Reap mud festival and see trucks and side-by-sides and hot women on four-wheelers, and the ones with the coolers on the back and Yeti cups.
It always seems a little unorganized. Like, there is a promoter involved, but like, I feel like there's more money to be made with these things. You could add something and you could make some serious money with this crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're leaving money on the table. Those people would probably dig me. No pun intended. I think we got to figure this out. I mean, I've done comedy in festivals before, and you do anytime you're doing stand-up comedy outdoors.
Yeah.
During COVID, I did some baseball, little minor league baseball stadiums, and I did drive-in movie theater type deals. It's not great. You just kind of survive it.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
not the best.
But here's where you pivot for the entertainment.
Hold on, daytime outdoors with people mudding in the
here's where you pivot. You don't have John do you don't have him do like a tried and true standard set. What you do is it's your festival. We're selling hot sauce like crazy. We've got the food out there in the food trucks. What you do is you do the commentary for the mudding and make that funny. Why force a turd? You don't need to do a set. That's a whole different animal you want to control within a room.
You just do
improv. You do crowd work with the stupid trucks, and oh my God, you're printing money. Printing money.
Yeah. You're right.
Hey, we're on to something here, man. Let's work on this together. Let's call it the Tom and Dan John Reap Mud.
And bring Efron. Bring Efron, because I haven't seen him since he had the face thing, and he told me via Instagram, he told me I'm hiding in my parents' basement. I'm like, is this real? I'm like, first of all, I was like, this is not the real John Heffron. Like, why are you messaging me? But yeah, bring him along. We'll do it.
You're right. We'll just set up a stage, and then we just commentate on every single four-wheeler that comes. We make fun of
I'm not
the guy's old lady in the back.
I'm selling hot sauce. I'm gonna make some money.
So, John, thanks so much.
I love it. I love this idea.
Yeah, we'll get it moving.
I'm actually doing a thing in Hickory. This will be the first time we're doing this. There's an outdoor event space that just opened up in Hickory, North Carolina.
Nice.
It's basically in my backyard. It's this, and we're going to do an outdoor movie night, like a drive-in movie, but you don't need your car. You just walk in. And do you remember Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're going to do a little bit of that. So it'll be me and my friends. I'll have a remote. We're going to watch Cannonball Run.
Oh.
And we're going to pause it and laugh at stuff and unpause it. Just have fun with the crowd. This will be beer and food trucks. And so that's at the end of this month. We're doing that.
That sounds awesome. That's like awesome. Southern adjacent movies with John Reap doing commentary and food.
So, John.
I love it.
It sounds exactly like you're basically in a bigger scale, but doing what we're doing here in Orlando, where it's like you have your audience, you do your media, your podcast, you have stuff for sale, you do a cruise, because you realize there's an engaged audience that that listens to you, and then you could do these events, make them successful, a bunch of people come out, have a good time, you make a little bit of money, everybody, but it's fair. It's not some giant corporate thing where they the tickets are crazy expensive and you're not getting a value. It seems like a lot of people are doing that, where there's these micro audiences all over the country. Everybody has their little bubble micro audience, and then you make a living off of it, and everybody's happy.
I'm just trying to do meet and greets with fans and also not lose money. So if I could make a little bit of like $100, I mean, I did a yard sale one time, promoted it online. I said, "Hey, everybody!" So we do this other game on Country-ish. I got a buddy. His name is Mark Hunt, and he likes to shop at a Goodwill. And so we do a segment called Goodwill Hunting. I love it. And so what we do is I buy him a gift for $5 or less, and he buys me a gift for $5 or less. We don't know what it is. We exchange it on the show, but it has to make sense as to why we chose that gift. So we did that for a while. Now we got all these random Goodwill gifts hanging out. And I said, well, let's just sell them to the fans. And so we had a big yard sale. And I included some of the crap in my house I didn't want anymore.
That's awesome.
Did people come to your house?
No, we did it at the
Online.
studio parking lot in the studio.
Yeah, safer.
Yeah.
Garage sale.
We had a guy playing music out there. We had a hot dog stand. We had cornhole, and I didn't make any money. I didn't make any money. In fact, I just gave the stuff away. At some point, you get real yard sale people who show up who don't even know the show. They just want to know, oh, there's a yard sale, and they really want to haggle you. I go, I'm not doing that. Just take it and get out of here.
Let's talk about yard sale people.
Then they think they're really good at haggling because they're like, I wore him down, and he just gifted it to me.
What are yard sale people doing? Like, how can it?
They're just killing time before they die. You're killing time before you die.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, they're weird. I mean, they are pretty strict, too. Like, they really want you to start early in the morning. And I chose not to do that. I started around 11 a.m. or something. And some of them came up as like, why is this just now open? I mean, I came by here. I saw the signs you wouldn't open. I came here at 8 o'clock. I'm like, I was asleep at 8 o'clock. That's your problem. Yeah, I don't understand.
And then they'll walk away over $1. Like, you drove here. Gas is $5 a gallon. Like, how? Like, $1 is going to be like no deal. And you get back in your car and you're buying like a Hummel.
Yeah, you're buying
my garbage.
You're buying a dirty vacuum cleaner. It's dirty. Like the vacuum cleaner has a sticky handle. Who wants that?
That's right.
Hey, two shows. Sorry. I didn't want to step on you.
No, you're good, man. I'm good. Yeah, 2 shows Friday night at the Improv in Orlando, 2 shows Saturday night. I believe that's what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yes, sir. That is you. And man, next time I hope we get a chance to get you back on the couch, and we'll work on the. Well, first of all, we're going to work on getting you the Rise of the Resistance tickets. We got to work on that. We're going to have an email out to Joey, and then we got to work on this whole monster truck mudding festival. The Reap Mud Festival sounds phenomenal.
Hey, I'm always down to try something one time and see how it goes. And if I don't lose money and I have fun, then that's like that buys us time for another one. So I'm in. If you guys want to help organize.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll figure it out. But enjoy your time in Orlando. Thank you for your time today, man. And we're just excited you're coming back to town.
Thanks. Me too, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, John. Take care. That is John Reap, live from a hotel room, I believe. It looked like he was in there.
I remember the last time we talked to John. Like he got his big break on those. Were there Chevy or Ford commercials?
I think it was Chevy.
Yeah, it was a Dodge.
The
Ram.
Dodge.
It was a Ram.
Yeah.
He's got a Hemi in it.
Yeah, the Hemi.
He's a Hemi guy.
Yeah.
You're going to get so many ats for not knowing your.
Yeah, I know
where your engines go.
But he was the Hemi guy for a while, and that's he's a super nice guy.
It put him on the map.
Yeah,
and it put him on the map so much because he has such an interesting and likable character look, like the floppy red hair, and he's got an attractive, like a friendly face with, you know what I mean? Like, so in those videos when you would see him, and I think because he's a redhead, like you're attracted to that, like whether you like it or not. You could either hate it or love it, but regardless, you're not ignoring it.
Yeah.
And his delivery was great, and it just I think if you still say that to certain people, not young people, but if you still say got a Hemi in it, people go, I remember that guy.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here with a brand new all mesh BDM hat.
Yeah.
Looking fly.
If you want to check out
guy.
all our merch, go to tomanddan.com. We've got new Villain Tom and Dan collaboration merch, coffee, hats,
shirts,
crop tops,
girl shirts, hats.
So you can check all that stuff out, and we'll be in DeLand July 29th at Cafe Da Vinci.
Yes.
For a Little Stranger show, completely free.
Yeah, I had a bunch of friends reach out to me and say, hey, you're actually going to be at Cafe Da Vinci on the 29th? Yes, I am. And I want to hang out with you.
First time we've had a meet-up in DeLand.
I'm excited about it. Yeah,
Which is weird.
Back to my hometown.
I've never hung out in DeLand.
Oh, right across the street from the Checkers. We'll shut that place down, and then we'll take Little Stranger to Checkers.
Let's do some work.
I wonder if they've been to Checkers.
Oh, yeah.
They look like a Checkers band. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday.
I like the seasoned fries.
Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. Do they still have cheeseburgers? What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Mortgage Solutions. You can go to streamlineflorida.com or streamlinecalifornia.com.
What?
If you live in California and need a mortgage or a refi or anything.
What if you can't spell California? Can you go to the Florida one and like click through? Can I click through?
Yeah. If you just call the Florida one and be like, I'm in California,
I'm in my car. Can you connect me, please? Please help!
Brian Zymel and his team will help you out with anything mortgage related. Patrick's on the line. How you doing, Patrick?
Better than I deserve. How about you guys?
Oh, I like that. He comes strong with a dad retort. I love a good... Tom hates those. I, sir, love those, so I like you already.
So, Patrick, what do you do?
Well, mine leans... the weird job I'm talking about is dog setting and dog care, I guess.
You're a dog sitter?
Correct. I sit on dogs.
He's got two. He's a twofer. That's two dad jokes. This is a great job.
Now, this seems like a business that could be profitable because lots of people need someone to watch their dog when they go on trips or whatever.
Crazy about their animals too.
Yeah. And so it seems like I've had a lot of people in my life look for a quality dog sitter because it's a service that they need.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
So it's hard to find somebody that's dependable.
Yeah, and you can't take your dog.
Try to find a sales guy.
Yeah. So how did it start, Patrick?
The dependable and quality is the hardest part to find in this. Everybody thinks, I'll watch a dog. But then they decide they want to go drinking and they get hungover and they don't show up the next day to walk your dog and that kind of thing. There's a lot of that process. But I got started in this because I am a horrible employee. I do not listen and follow directions well of other people. And I've been self-employed my entire life except for about 5 years. I worked for other people. So I just found this one. I had back when I was still in Iowa, I found a company called Doggy Vacay, and I was looking for somebody to watch my dog, and nobody would watch a dog over 100 pounds in my area. So I drove 3.5 hours to drop my dog off for 4 days so I could basically go run a marathon. At the time in D.C., the dog couldn't race with me. And then I thought, well, hell, if nobody in my area does it, I'll start doing it, and that's how it got started.
So you're a crazy marathon person, which we all know those people are crazy. And you're also a dog-watching person, and we know those people are crazy. You also only have ginormous dogs, and those people are extra crazy, almost like bird people. I admire you, sir.
So, Patrick, it seems like the hardest part for starting a dog-watching business is getting someone to trust you with their house, and they're giving you the key to their house. Well,
I'd be more concerned about him mistreating my dog, not so much my house.
Well, I feel like people are paranoid about letting someone into their house while they're not there. And,
you're not. You're perfect for dog walker.
No, yeah. Well, I'm saying I'm perfect to let someone in my house. I'll let anybody in my house.
But you don't even lock your doors.
But most people are very cautious when giving the keys to their house to a person they don't know. How do you combat that, Patrick?
You're completely wrong. Daniel's right and Tom is wrong completely here. People have much more concern about their animal than they do their belongings. Like, I have keys right now to about 25 houses.
It's like I stole it from them all.
I just keep it. Yeah, I just keep their keys, because they leave off and on enough to not keep making, trips back and forth. So I have people giving their access to their house constantly.
So you have unlimited places to go and masturbate at all times. This is awesome. I need to do this.
100%. Yeah, I can. If you get over here to Volusia County, hook me up.
Hold on a second. I don't masturbate in Volusia County. I'm not an animal.
Well, you're missing out, man. We do it best over here.
So, Patrick, how long? Because I've dealt with other dog watching services, and there's a local one in town.
Pookie Brothers.
Yeah.
That was Disco Scotty used to own that.
Yeah. I think he still does, or as of
He probably
years
dropped
ago.
the disco part of Disco Scotty, I would imagine.
So
If he didn't, then I just insulted him. I apologize.
So, what is your service? Do you because I've seen other dog watching services. They also they'll water your plants. They'll walk around your property, make sure they're
Put the dishes in the sink.
No, but they just make sure there's nothing fishy going on. Like they had extra stuff. They're like, hey, we'll walk around, make sure there's no doors open or you didn't have any break-ins.
I'll shut your pantry.
Do you offer other services besides just letting their dog out?
I might try to watch most of the dogs at my own property. I'll bring the dogs to my house, they drop them off, or I also do pickup. I'll go to their house, pick their dog up, that kind of thing. That's my main. I try and do that as much as possible here at my own house because I like my house. I like my stuff. I don't like being at your house. So then I also offer cat services. I go in to feed the cats, clean the litter box. That doesn't take any time. Or I'll go play with the dogs for an hour, take them for a walk, play fetch, that kind of thing, and leave the dog at their house. Those are the three main ones. And I also do overnights where I'll stay. Usually if I have super old, blind dogs that don't do well in new environments or dogs that are aggressive towards other dogs, I'll stay at the house at their property. Most of the time when that's happening, it's usually someplace on the beach or on the intercoastal. They're usually very nice, very elaborate houses where people think the dog would be better suited in their, 3,500 square feet, house than it would be in my, 1,500 square feet house. So, yeah.
Sounds kind of fun. It keeps you moving. It's different every day. You got different clients.
You get to play with dogs.
Are you taking on new clients? Have you ever had any dogs run loose and you had to track them down again?
I'm taking on new clients still. I'm actually turning away clients. Normally, I've only turned away 2 dogs because the dogs are crappy. The rest I've turned away because the owners are crappy. They don't show up when they say, they're late, they're disrespectful, that kind of thing. I get rid of people that way because my pantry's full and my house is paid for, so I don't care about the money that much, so it's not as big concern. But I am still taking on new clients. The one time I had 2 dogs end up outside my house off leash, and that gave me a major panic heart attack. So I put up a secondary gate in my entryway. So when you come in my house, you walk in the door, and you have a secondary gate about 8 feet away that now there's no chance the dog's getting out. Same with my fence. It's double fence in my backyard. I put up 2 gates
like a dog park
in my house. So everything is it's completely like a dog park. Yeah, I 100% I've determined that if a dog gets killed because of me, malpractice or a dog is lost, I'll stop watching dogs. I'm never making that phone call twice that I give you back a dead dog or a lost dog. I couldn't handle that stress of telling somebody my fault, your dog's gone.
I don't think I'd give them their dead dog back. That's just a guess. But I would.
Most people want the dead dog back.
No, I would just. I'm on the lam at that point. I'm gone.
You'll never hear from me again.
Yeah, I'm in my car. I'm already in South Carolina at this point. I'm away.
So, Patrick, it seems like this would be a hard business to start in the fact that
you got to build trust.
Well,
right?
You'd have to get X amount of clients to even make a living. So, were you able to get a bunch of clients up front? Did you build this slowly? How did it work?
In the beginning, I was basically making money elsewhere. I was getting income from other situations and stuff, other jobs going, and making a good money. No, I've never done or sold drugs.
Okay.
I've facilitated some connections, but never actually done it myself.
Yeah. You just link up your guy with your friend. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, you talk to him and he talks to you, and it's all good. But yeah. But no, I started off slowly and then started getting some reputation. And one of the nice things about the app I use is called rover.com. And you can see all the reviews. It's kind of like eBay, where you look at the seller and it says, 5-star, A++, so on and so forth. And then once they read those reviews, then it just continues to grow and grow. And then you just have people that trust you because you've got 500 reviews saying you've done good. And I've got a bunch of repeat customers that are coming back constantly.
How many clients would you say you have, active clients right now? Like if you were to sell your list to another dog walker because you're retiring, how many active clients would you say you're giving this person, and what's the value?
Well, that's the one question I never thought you guys would ask. I don't know. I would probably say right now I probably have 600 dogs, probably 500 dogs.
Holy crap, dude. That's a lot of dogs.
Yeah. Some I only watch like once a year when they come down from, like, say, North Carolina or come down from Jersey. They get an Airbnb that doesn't accept dogs, so I'll watch them for that week. And then other ones I have here. I had one dog I watched 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, from 5:30 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, because he worked down here at Boston Whaler 10-hour days, and the dog couldn't be left alone all day. So I watched the dog literally 4 days a week,
That's your dog.
for 18 months,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And when he first got it, he had a couple of deaths in the family, and the dog was staying, like, for the weekends when he traveled out of town. I'm like, your dog thinks that he lives with me and you're taking him away from me. Because he'd go home and sleep. He'd come here and play with all the dogs. That he would, like, race in the house, he'd go to leave, he'd go out the door and lay down the sidewalk and get drugged to the car because he didn't want to leave. He, like, literally wanted to stay here more than he wanted to go to his own house.
God, that's
I feel like you need to rescue that dog.
Yeah, that's like a sad children's book or something. Like, that's terrible.
So what do you charge, Patrick?
Oh, I bet it's expensive.
Depends on what the service is. Like, just stop in, like, feeding your cats, it's like $22, I think, is what it runs. If I'm going and, like, walking a dog, it's $25. If they're staying here at my house, it's $30 or $35, depending on the dog, for overnights. And then if I go and stay at your house, it's $75 to $150, depending on where the house is and how many dogs you have.
If you go to my house and you're taking my dog out and maybe taking him up the block and back, if you walk in and there's some turds, do you take care of that?
Yes.
That's $25.
I'll pick it up.
So for $25, you'll walk my dog and put a turd in the toilet and flush it away? That's a good deal,
and
dude.
Clean it up if I can find your cleaning supplies. I'm also the guy that I had a couple cats I was watching the other day, and the guy used to work for NASA, right over here on Intercoastal, and I was rinsing out the dishes for their cats, and I realized their sink was loose, so I actually tightened up their sink so they didn't flop around so much. So I told them what I'd done, and whatnot. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to call a plumber out." And I'm like, "Yeah."
I fixed your floppy sink, sir. You're awesome.
I've changed batteries and smoke detectors because I'm staying at the house and you got that beep and that background beep. I know that would drive Daniel nuts also, like myself. I can't stand it.
Are you
I literally got their 16-foot ladder out and climbed it to change the battery out, like a 16-foot ceiling.
Are you on Tom and Dan hookups? And why aren't you on Tom and Dan hookups? Because the chat room is slamming different people in there saying they need your assistance.
I haven't done that yet, I guess, mostly because I'm way over here in, like, New Smyrna area, and there's not many of us over in this area.
Gotcha.
Well,
I do have clients that drive over from Orlando that were clients of mine before that are now have moved, like Orlando. I have one that lives in Tampa. When he goes out of state, he drives from Tampa over to me, drops the dog off, and then heads up north, like when he goes like North Carolina and that kind of thing.
Is this not
because
fascinating?
He wants his dog watched here.
To you, Tom, in the idea that, I mean, this is like the epitome of a self-made tiny business that can get huge. 500 dogs is a lot of dogs.
Well, I mean, you'd have to get huge. You'd have to have employees working underneath you. You could only get so big doing it by yourself, Patrick. You know what I'm saying? Patrick sounds like he just, he enjoys his job. He doesn't want to work for anybody.
Sounds like he's good at it too.
But you mentioned the app, and I was about to say it seems like peer-to-peer apps, like dog watching apps, and like that kind of thing,
Rover.com
is going to get more and more prevalent, where people will start doing it for their neighbors and just jump on the app and like look. Like my mother-in-law walks every day around the neighborhood. Like this is a job for her.
Like
she
perfect for her.
She can go on the app, and then anybody in the neighborhood that wants their dog left out,
Yeah.
you know
and
what I'm saying?
naturally,
Pop in.
she's just got that crystal, I mean, obviously she's the source of crystals, so she's got that animal powers where they're like good with like any type of animal.
So is that what the app you mentioned is, like a peer-to-peer dog watching app?
Yeah, Rover's been around for a while.
Yeah, Rover's been around for a while. They actually bought out Doggy Vacay, and I can't stand the Rover app. It's very user-unfriendly. Their customer service sucks. It's just, but people would not find me. I can't advertise enough like on Facebook in North Carolina or Jersey. Nobody's going to find me. So I still use the Rover just basically to find the new clients. And then often what will happen after a while, we'll just skip the app and we'll just go directly, I'll give them my business phone number and they'll hit me up directly and we'll save all the fees, the Rover fees. And
That's
stuff.
what we want to do with our Air T&D.
Money.
Eventually, we just want BDMs renting it directly from Tom. And we're rich.
Oh, yeah. You cut out the middleman.
We cut out the Airbnb, no cleaning fee. We work directly with the cleaning lady. That's what we should do, but we're not big enough yet.
Oh, yeah. And the problem is there's still good marketing the Airbnb website offers you.
They pump us up to the top.
But, with this whole deal, and do you ever have any liability with if you're in the house and something goes wrong or something happens? Where, I mean, who's in charge? Like for instance, Airbnb has insurance where they've got liability insurance. So if you rent through them, they're insured. Is that how like Rover works too, or whatever? Like, they offer liability insurance to anybody using their app or going through them?
Yeah, Rover does offer a liability, and like they even have, like, let's say the dog would eat something here and get sick or get injured and stuff. They have some vet bill coverage and that kind of thing as well. But their deductibles are like $2,500. Like it's a really dumb. But most everything's going to be covered way before your deductible ever got reached. So it's kind of a false security. It's like taking your shoes off at the airport. It makes you feel good, but it really doesn't do nothing. They're not finding bombs in shoes anymore. There's a little bit of that. Like I have a little bit. Like if back when it was doggy vacay, let's say a dog got loose on me, they would reach out to they would swamp Facebook in the local area and put rewards out for the dog, and they'd call up every other sitter in the area to help look for him. But Rover is kind of like, screw off, we don't care. Like they're more money hungry. They're corporate, kind of thing. So I just run my own, kind of scenario. On all the years I've had it, I've never had anything major happen. I've had like a dog end up with a big knot on his head where it like jumped and missed, hit the side of my deck, and like literally like bloodied up his head. And the owner's like, it's a puppy. Dogs do dumb. I put some quick stop on it. The bleeding stopped, and we, sent the dog home with a wounded, forehead.
Just like you would at a daycare or after-school program or anything else.
Have you ever had a dog bite you, Patrick?
I've had 2 dogs bite me in this work, and one of them got really bad infected, ended up in the ER over it and the whole thing, and it was bad. And the other one was it was not so bad. I was able to keep it clean before it got infected. And both of them were like little dogs that were just scared, nervous. They weren't aggressive, mean dogs. They were the ones that were just never socialized, never, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so I try and stay away from the super high, nervous, scared dogs. And they don't do well.
Well, you won't be sitting for me anytime soon because I'm a nervous, scared dog.
Have you ever seen anything weird inside people's houses? Like they have a weird sex dungeon?
Or like overly erotic artwork, sculptures, like very graphic sculptures everywhere.
Well, I don't know if I would call a sex dungeon weird. I would call that awesome.
Hey.
Let's start there. But no. Unfortunately, no, I have not. The closest I came to that is one of my clients did some work for military weaponry and had basically a hospital, or not hospital, but a bank vault built under his stairs that had some weapons that the government was still like testing new stuff. And it was like behind.
I don't know if you should tell us this.
Oh my God! Like the Despicable Me fart ray.
Yeah. It was. Oh yeah. I don't know what was behind it, but it was a very. He paid me very, very well to set dogs at his house, kind of act as security to the house as well. And I just never looked in that room. But I know some of the stuff he done was some pretty high-end, sketchy for the government, as an independent contractor. So,
gotcha.
But I've had weird art. Like you'll see some weird nude art of like the wife kind of thing, like kind of like soapy butt, but more painting than picture.
Oh
yeah, those guys are out there. That's a good Florida man.
Yeah.
He hangs what he likes in his house because that's what he does.
Exactly.
So Patrick, what do you pull down a year doing dog sitting?
Last year I pulled in a little over $63,000.
No,
that's pretty
good.
damn good.
Would you
work for yourself?
Yeah, would you say that your schedule, I mean, you don't sound stressed. You sound like you very much enjoy it, and obviously you have to be good with dogs or you wouldn't be doing it. Is it a fun job to you? Would you use that adjective?
It's a rewarding job. I don't know if I'd call it fun, but it's rewarding. And it's very time intensive, but it's a weird time intensive, if that makes sense. Like I worked like 350 days plus last year I had dogs, whether it was just going and feeding the cat or whatever. So it makes it a little more difficult sometimes to say, go camping for the weekend. And if I have clients' dogs that I know well enough, I'll take the dogs camping with me. If I want to take the boat out, I'll take the dog out in the boat and that kind of thing. So you're it's hard to just like take off and go to like Busch Gardens for the overnight.
Yeah, no dogs allowed at Busch Gardens.
Well,
there's a little bit of that.
They let cats in, which is odd. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We are joined by, is he the tallest member of the Tom and Dan Mediocre?
Is Bus?
I thought it was the R team.
I thought we're not supposed to say that. Okay. Is Kenny, we're joined by Kenny Samsel from Two Moofs podcast. Go to twomoofs.com. That's TOO moofs.com, right?
TOOMOOFS.
Yeah, there you go. And Kenny, are you the tallest member of the R team?
No, I think Sam had it right. I think Bus is a little bit taller than me.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4", but I think Bus is 6'5".
Yeah, but Angel Rivera.
He's 6'5".
DJ Angel Rivera is 6'6".
Oh, but he's not part of the R team. We can't.
No, we can't do
He's
that.
distanced himself.
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
He's too cool for the...
He's pretty damn cool. But anyway, welcome to the show. Good to see you. I like your shirt.
Thank you very much.
It's very psychedelic.
Now, before we get into anything, we have to talk about the last time Kenny was here and the awkward walk to Publix.
Yes, the walkward.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I did too, but someone in the Twitch chat reminded me.
Yep.
So what did you think was happening, Kenny?
All right. And
So first of all, like,
Let's reset.
So can you reset
Yeah.
what
That's exactly what happened.
So what happened though? Like, I don't know
So
what.
Kenny was trying to leave.
Okay.
Like a normal
yeah,
human.
okay, so I'm leaving, and then Tom's like, oh, hey, hold up, I'll walk out with you. Because I'm thinking...
No, hold on a second. He never does that with me.
No.
I'll be like, anybody need food? He'll be like, I'd like to walk alone, please.
I'll walk
like,
later
God
by
damn,
myself.
man. I was like, easy. And then
Well, he was
I'll
like-
walk with you. I'll be like, no, please don't. I'd like to be alone with my thoughts.
Like, so I was...
I'm a loner, Danny.
I was about to be out the door, but Tom was like a few steps behind me. I'm like, all right, I'll be nice. I'll just, leave the door open for him. So he's walking out with me, and Tom and I are just walking. I parked on one of the parallel spaces, just only like a couple of cars ahead.
Okay.
But Tom and I kept walking and talking, and we walked past my car, but Tom doesn't know that. Tom doesn't know my car.
Ah.
So we just kept walking. We get to the intersection where he needs to break away to go to Publix.
And he's going to cross the street.
And we finish our conversation, and so I like do a 180 and just walk back to where my car is.
Where are you going? Hey, man, I thought we had a connection here.
Yeah, now, did you hear me explain, Kenny?
Yes, okay.
So when I said I'll walk with you, did you assume, because this is what I thought, you assumed that I was going to talk to you about some serious topic or business or some sort of, like, hey, can you close the door for a second? Let me speak
with your private.
No one ever says, hey, can I talk to you for a second?
I can make you a big-time podcasting star if you'll,
Every time,
get on your knees and beg.
Every time someone tells you, hey, can I talk to you for a second? It's never like, what do you want to eat for lunch? It's something serious. Like,
Yeah.
if it gets,
But I don't think you said that.
No,
I think you just said, I'll walk out with you.
Yeah, you never said
See,
you wanted
you
to talk.
overthink everything. Now you think he thinks there's a meeting happening. He's just walking out to his car.
What do you think people think of you? Like, you must think that as soon as you walk out there, people are like, oh, my God.
Tom wants to talk
That's Tom Van. Hey, everybody, that's Tom Van. He wants to talk to you. Oh, my God, he's walking out with you. Oh, my God.
So here's a wacky
Don't
time.
blow it. Don't blow it,
I'll be
Kenny.
the new butler.
You're walking out with Tom Van. Don't blow it.
Here's a wacky concept, Tom. It's called being nice. And
He is nice. He is nice. He's just awkward.
I know, but it's like when you were walking out with me, I wasn't thinking, okay, it's time to talk shop. Got time to, get
well,
to
why
the
did
brass
you say I'm
tacks.
parked over here? Because we weren't.
Because he's letting you know what direction he's going. No, he's letting you know that
Because
if
you
he
probably
hears...
launched into some damn conversation
yeah.
he thought he couldn't walk away from.
No, I was just small. I was like,
Finally, I got Kenny alone. I can pick his brain about some stuff.
I'm not going to be rude and just be like, oh, Tom's in the middle of a sentence.
This
I'm
is
be
like
like, nope,
Fish
we're done.
Sandwich Part 2, man. This is like
It
Fish
is.
Sandwich Part 2. You're the crazy one, crazy the whole time. Inception. You're the
Hashtag
weird.
walkward.
You're the weirdo. It's walkward, man.
because I'm only small talking as we're walking to not make it awkward, so it's not silent walking, us walking side by side.
But you do that with me.
How about when you walk out with him, you say, hey, where are you parked? So you don't waste his time.
When he walks to Publix with me, he walks 5 feet ahead of me like I'm some old wife. I walk behind him like, I slow down. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you mad, Jerry.
Because
you were walking to Publix and then you're dead silent.
No, well,
and I feel like if I say anything, you're like, shut up.
no, my steps are longer. So you're
Look at that. Yeah, double down and hurt me more.
Well, and
hurt me more. Put the
wasn't
knife
like-
in and twist it, you mother.
It wasn't just like oh, hey, thanks for coming, let's talk again sometime. It was like, hey, let me tell you about my vacation in my RV.
You went into your vacation, bragging about your
I
vacation?
like myself.
We know.
So
Is there anything you'd like to ask me or anything you'd like to know as I walk you too far from your car?
is there anything you want to know about my vacation?
And questions?
I'll now open this walk up to questions with yes, Kenny, a question for Tom as I walk into my car.
So, Kenny, what's been going on? What are you doing?
So I realized that when I first started coming in here, it was a lot of stories about my wacky entertainment
Yeah,
past.
those dried up. What the hell?
So I just I got a couple of quick ones for you.
Okay,
that I've done.
good.
So there was one of them. I think one of the weirdest experiences I had was with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, I love them.
They were great. They were awesome to work with. Except,
Did you work with the guy with the extraordinarily long ponytail?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
guy.
And
he's
there's
a
another one
little-
with like a lot of dreads.
Yeah, he's a little effeminate. Like, there's a guy that plays in Earth, Wind, and Fire, and he has a long. What's the guy? The genie from You Ain't Never Had a You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. He has like a long
Aladdin?
genie ponytail. he has a huge.
Is his hair receding?
Yes,
Yeah,
his hair is receding, and he has a Ming the Merciless, You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me ponytail. And it is weird, man. When you're in your 70s and you have a jet black genie ponytail, suspect.
So the weird thing about them was they wanted to get paid in cash. No checks, no wire transfers, cash
James
only.
Brown was like that.
So I had to go to the bank and literally, like I was robbing it, had a backpack full and like transfer $20,000 in cash
Oh, my God.
into a backpack.
And then you had to sit there with a man with a jet black 7-foot ponytail, counts every dollar.
And I'm sitting there and I'm putting the backpack on the front, that way it doesn't accidentally like spill out in the back, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get robbed. I'm gonna get like completely, at knife point, get $20,000 in cash taken from me.
Knife point. I can run from knife point.
Well, you're making yourself a mark at that point, Kenny, because when I looking around for people
Yeah,
to
you
rob,
got the backpack in front of you and you're shaking.
the person that's hugging the back, I'm like, there's something valuable in there.
Well,
Nothing valuable out here.
That's the one I want.
Yeah, and I had to drive from the bank to the venue, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, go the speed limit, stop at every red light, because I didn't want to get in an accident, didn't want to deal with anything. It was one of the most paranoid I've ever been. Because when
That's a lot of dough.
Because the cops will hassle you if you have $20,000 in cash, and there's some weird law where they can literally confiscate that from you if they think that you have way too much cash and there's something suspicious, which is insane. There's been people that had their stuff confiscated just by having too much cash on them, which is not against the law.
Apparently it is.
But it was a crazy loophole where they suspect something, and then it's hard to get back, and it's a pain.
I mean,
in the
I
ass.
think normally, because on Cops for years, it was like the way the equation went would be like, oh, what do we have here? Oh, a wad of cash. Oh, what do we have here? Drugs. And it was just like that every time.
Yeah.
So I think they just assume, which is not right. I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's just
And
how
it can't be
goes.
like, no, Mr. Ponytail Man needs this. Like, I don't know how to prove him otherwise.
So can't you tell Earth, Wind, and Fire, you're not getting paid in cash? We're going to give you...
Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby.
Because also our accountants are going to be like, where's this cash going to? Then we have to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
You know how the IRS works, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
But unfortunately, they have all the cards, because if we say you're not getting paid in cash, they'll be like, well, we're not playing.
Well, just put wind up there.
Can you call the IRS and be like, I paid them in cash? Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, they're trying to... Because that's the only benefit.
Earth and Fire demanded cash.
The only reason you want cash is so you don't have to report it to the IRS. There's no other reason. Because then you put
Some
yourself
people
at
like
risk.
to spend it now. Some people don't want it to clear.
Well, and
They don't want the IRS to know.
Right. No, I'm with you, but they'll say other reasons.
It's also hard because this was when they're already established, but I can see a lot of people wanting to get paid in cash because I'm sure they've been given checks before by promoters and venues, and they bounced. So it's more of like a trust issue.
It's a guarantee that the money is actual money at the time.
Well, you can get a cashier's check. It's not
understand.
going to bounce. I know. It's an old school thing, pay me in cash. But, I mean, believe me, I want to get paid in cash. I've thought about it, but I think it's trashy telling some of our sponsors, hey, if you pay me in cash, I'll give you a 10% discount. but I was like, that's what pawn shops do.
I mean, it is.
But it would be beneficial to us because we don't have to report it.
Whatever happened to the hardcore pawn guy?
Telling that, huh?
Remember that show, Hardcore Pawn?
No, yeah.
I enjoyed that show.
It dried up when the whole pawn thing.
The whole pawn bubble burst.
People are like,
the best thing to come out of all those pawn shows? Chum Lee got his health. He got his health back.
So, Kenny, when you go and then give Earth, Wind, and Fire the $20,000 in the backpack,
Yeah.
do you pour the $20,000 out, or
Onto a brown hotel bed.
or do you just give them the whole backpack?
No, you give them the whole backpack.
Oh, okay, and just
Yeah.
keep the backpack.
Well, here's the
Do
thing.
they instantly unzip it and open it big and stick their head in there and look around and go like, okay?
So, I mean, I'm not giving it to the actual band members themselves. It's like their production manager or whatever. But so the $20,000, that's like half. We've already given them
$40,000. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. My God.
But and it's one of those where if we were cool enough to give them cash, they're cool enough not to sit there and have to count it in front of us. So they just sit there and they trust that.
My
it's
dad
there.
told me that was rude. We'd go on these like sham like deals, and my dad would get an envelope of money. I don't know what he was buying or selling. It was probably like the beginning iterations of Craigslist or some sort of deal, and he'd get the money, and he was never shorted, but he'd always wait until we were back in the car, and he'd put stuff in his glove box, and then he'd get it out while we're down the road, and he'd start counting it.
Yeah,
he didn't want to count it in front of the guy, because the guy would be like, "Are you calling me a liar?" He has to pull his gun out in front of me, and I see him gun down a man or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All that for Frogger arcade machines.
They were Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
And by the way, I think by us,
Frogger, they did have Frogger, though.
by us joking around about bringing a gun to Craigslist deals,
That's what people do.
that people have now then started bringing guns to Craigslist. You don't need to
People
do that.
people did that from the beginning. You didn't start
Yeah.
that.
No, I know, but I feel like
Or just, make the deal in front of a police department.
yeah, like at the Walmart, and you're trying to sell a boogie board or whatever.
Yeah.
Like no one's gunning you down or stealing your $80.
Depends on what you're selling.
Yeah. Anyway, so Earth, Wind, and Fire. So you give them the money, they don't count it, and
Yeah, and it's one of those, you give them half up front, they play their set, and then when there's 2 songs left.
Did they
then
play September?
Oh, of course they did. They ended with that.
You know that song, right? Yeah. Do you remember?
oh yeah.
No, but they were cool.
It's popular on TikTok right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Do you remember Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting. And then I had another question. Have you guys ever gotten starstruck with celebrities? I know you guys meet them all the time, and especially in the
Yes.
radio biz.
Sometimes in my dreams, I meet myself and I'm in awe.
I saw Don Shula one time, and I
yeah,
wanted to
this
punch him in the
guy.
face. But that was my.
I think that's the
initial-
opposite of starstruck.
No, but that.
No, it was the most sincere form of love that Tom could give you. To want to punch your old face.
That was the most starstruck I was, but that was the feeling I had. It's
Yeah.
not like when I see more successful business women, I want to expose myself to them.
You want to pull your pants down.
You need to get help.
I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm just saying
he's not
that's
gonna act
a
on
One day
it.
you will, though.
I'll never do it.
He'll do it on his deathbed. He wants to be buried that way. He wants to be buried in a casket with a hole in his pants.
But it's like I don't know how to express my emotions, so that's how it comes out. I'm like, Don Shula, oh my God, and then I immediately wanted to punch him as hard as I could.
It's like in Ghost. If you don't know how to say I love you, you say ditto.
Exactly.
It's just whatever your love language is at the
But
time.
Sam, you said yes, that you have been starstruck?
A handful of times.
By the
yeah.
way, I was there when you met Don Shula, and
Yeah.
oh my God, they wheeled in that corpse. Holy moly, that guy. He was a ghost when they brought him in
it's
there.
only
Come
somebody
on.
I really highly respect. If it's you could be the most famous person in the world, but if I don't care about you, then I won't get
Gotcha.
starstruck.
So, and in my times, I know I've told you stories about Ricky Martin, Snoop Dogg.
Enough of the Ricky Martin story. I only get starstruck
He was
if
KFC,
I
right?
only get starstruck if I think you can do something for my career.
Well, so the only time I think I've ever been starstruck, and I sounded like an idiot, was Sheila E.
Oh, the
Okay.
drummer for Prince.
Glamorous Life. and
Yeah.
everything. So I grew up listening to her, loved her, and
She was hot.
Oh my God. She's
Like, who doesn't like a woman in lingerie playing the drums?
Yeah.
That was like a thing in the 80s.
Oh my God. And it's so weird. I don't know, like
Good drummer, too. Really good
females who can kill it on drums, like, are just so attractive.
You
to
know
me.
what it is for me, since I'm a drummer? It's not the drummers, it's a female guitarist. I
Really?
met that. What's that? Starts with a U or no or Ornithonia?
Oh, yeah,
I met her.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, she's little.
Oh yeah. But and here's the thing with
Or maybe did I meet her or met Shakira? Anyway,
but Sheila E. She's aged so wonderfully as well. Like she's in her 50s or 60s now, and she still looks stunning.
Brown don't frown.
But and I got to meet her because I was talking to her tour manager and just telling us like, yeah, when I was 6-7 years old, I loved her music, and I got to meet her, and immediately I was just a bumbling idiot. I'm like, I'm such a fan of your, and I'm like, it was the most unprofessional I've ever been ever working with someone, and of all people, Sheila E. And I think she just looked at me like I was probably a moron.
I was weird. I was a little geeky to Scott Weiland, but that was only on the phone, and he was kind of jerky back to me, or maybe he was being playful. I like to think that he does that all day long. It was nothing. It's passing. I'm taking it more negatively than it was intended.
Yeah.
And I'm sure celebrities over years and years of experiencing this are so used to it that this is a common reaction to them. And
I'm sure.
They're not weirded out by it. It probably doesn't even move the radar. It's
My
like,
dad,
this is what reaction.
I just felt it was unprofessional because I was working the concert and then I was acting like this. It'd be one thing if I was a fan doing like a backstage meet and greet or something.
Yeah. That I've always said, if you're in the environment of the production company or you're working there and you ask for autographs or pictures, it's unprofessional.
My dad was in Savannah, Georgia, on the Slippy steps, where you take the underground, where you take the steps down. And Mom and Dad were going down the Slippy steps, and my dad had a really good memory, like almost photographic, like for names and people's faces. And so occasionally he was wrong. And he looked over and he goes, "Oh my God, it's Merle Haggard!" And my mom was like, "Oh my God, it is Merle Haggard." And my dad runs over and he's like, "Mr. Haggard, Merle Haggard, can I get your picture?" And he's like, "Yes, you may, but I'm Merle Olsen from Little House on the Prairie." You'd have to look the guy up. Big, tall guy. He was like kind of like a stoic. He's an ex-football player, Merle Olsen. And an actor. I file that under dumb old man knowledge that I know. But yeah, he was, and my dad mixed it up. But my dad, somewhere there's a photo of my father and Merle Olsen from Little House on the Prairie.
I'll tell you the most embarrassed I've ever been in front of a celebrity, and it's been on this show.
Did I do it?
And it was EJ's fault, and I'll never forgive him for it.
What did he do?
The infamous, you were the Chappelle Show doing the robot.
Yeah. I still remember that.
You
It
still
still got
controlled
me.
that. You controlled that. He has an out here. Because you didn't have to take his advice. You didn't have to say anything.
He's always wrong.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That was really the origin of knowing that he's always wrong.
I know. Listen, I only have myself to blame, but that was embarrassing because, and it was like a borderline racist.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
There's like racism, and the fact that I was
took the clip and made it like a funny.
that made it worse.
Yeah, so bad.
But then, I was a huge fan of the Chappelle Show, so to get it wrong was even more embarrassing to me. And
you were excited, man. Like I remember how bad you felt all day. Like the rest of the day, you were like,
"What an
God!
idiot!"
Like it still affects him.
He would be doing that move where
Every
he's
morning.
sitting at his desk and he's
Every
quiet,
morning.
and he'll be like, "God, I don't know why I did exactly." Like, and you'll be like legitimately upset.
That's the only reason EJ is still on the show, so I can micro embarrass him for years.
Every time he looks in the mirror, he micro embarrasses himself.
Yeah, just to get him back for that one moment, that worst moment of my
Did you
career.
guys tune into Nerd Talk Live last night? Anyone?
No, of course not.
No one. Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. Let's
All
come back.
Can you hang out?
Oh, yeah.
Or you got more stories?
Oh, you know it.
Okay, cool. We'll take a quick break and be back with more Corporate Time.
Welcome back to a corporate time. All right, we've got Jake on the line now. If you're listening to yesterday's ACT, we talked about how Jake lost his T-shirt.
Well, he said he lost his
At
shirt.
the end of the show, he said he lost his Tom and Dan shirt in a flood.
And I said, "I'll give you a new shirt." And then you're like, whoa. We can't just be giving out new shirts. And I'm like, he lost his shirt. And you're like, how the hell does a grown man lose a shirt? And he said he lost his shirt in a flood.
Yeah, in a house flood. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Tom and Dan? How you guys doing?
Good to see you,
good.
I'm a
man.
little bit. I'm a little bit nervous for calling in because last time I called into a radio show, I got my butt handed to me.
Who'd you call?
We're not gonna
No.
Who?
Yeah,
Let me
who?
guess.
Yeah,
Jim Colbert.
Bubba.
Bubba the Love Sponge, yeah. He can be a bit abrasive. He's a friend of ours.
It's weird. It's a love sponge.
Yeah, you would guess.
He should be a sponge of love.
Yeah, he's a hard and unfeeling sponge.
let me tell you
Should
what
be
happened.
Bubba the Jean Jacket.
Earlier this year, we had a little bit of a water issue where the toilet we had a bad toilet and all that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was because the shirt was on the floor when it got wet.
You don't want to wear no toilet shirt, man. I'm with you.
Hold on, just got some
hold
toilet.
on. You just put it in the washer.
If I'm Jake and I take my shirt off to help my mom and dad and the toilet's overflowing, and then we got turds coming out and they get on my shirt, I'm punting that shirt in the trash.
Also, one of the things is I also had a white Bubba Army shirt that got destroyed too. So.
Oh my God! I can't.
We
help
can't
you.
replace
yeah,
that
we
one.
can't help you with that one.
I think we have some.
We actually do have some. Yeah, they gave us some of those. We
I
didn't
thought
know.
we shipped those out for BDM Appreciation Week.
we did that.
I don't know.
That was the mystery box. Another scam.
By the way, I just want to tell you guys that I ordered one. I just ordered one of your stickers.
Thank you very
The
much.
free
Oh,
sticker.
damn it. Now we can't give you a sticker pack.
Hold on. How'd you order? We have one sticker for sale?
No, they're free on the website.
Oh.
Thanks for. We've had those since the beginning of time of this podcast.
Okay, well,
Jake, this guy doesn't
hold on,
even know
you
his
said
own.
it. Well,
This guy doesn't even know his own show. That is talk about being
Well, that's
detached from reality. You're no different than Trump or
Truly.
any other rich guy. You're like, how'd you get a sticker? And Sam's like, they're free on the website. You're like,
I used to have to send those
who
out every
set
week.
that? Who did that? Who set that up?
Well, that doesn't help you. You presented it.
Oh.
You know, the thing is, Dan is actually right. I don't have a lot of money to go and
Told you.
spend on this stuff.
Told you.
Well, let's talk about that, Jake. Well,
We're going to give
how
him a
much-
free shirt because I help out.
What do you do for a living,
Yeah,
Jake?
how much money do you have? Because a lot is subjective. Some people would think I have a lot of money, but Elon Musk would think I'm poor.
Unfortunately, before I tell you the amount, I got to tell you I also got bills to pay, and I got to get food for the house and stuff.
We understand how adulting
$1,200 a
works.
month. $1,200 a month.
Ooh.
That's not a lot.
Well, you know,
That's with. But here's let me
depends
tell
on
you
your
this.
bills. Huh?
I don't have Todd Clem money.
Who?
I don't have. Sorry.
That's Bubba's real
You
name.
don't have
Oh. I was
Sorry.
unfamiliar. That's
No, you're good. No, you're good. Just these guys, they're not as enmeshed in the radio world as,
Yeah.
as some
By
people
the
are.
way,
Yeah, is it
by the way, calling into your show is better than calling into Bubba's because Bubba doesn't have an answering service like you do, and doesn't have someone like Sam answering the phone. It's just him.
Well, that's because we don't put Sam in a Lexan box and have her rub her teeth on the glass and soap them up good. I'm sure if we did that, she would not be here very long.
but we'd be rich.
And at least that day, I would enjoy myself finally. One time. So
Yeah.
One day I would enjoy. You know,
Hold on,
I'd
let's
get
talk
home,
about this
I
box.
would get home and my wife would be like, "How was the show today?" And I go, "It was the goddamn best day of my life." I go, "You know what? I love my job. I love Tom. I love Sam. It's goddamn
Yeah.
best day of my life."
Yeah. Now we know.
I got tears in my eyes.
Now
right
we
now.
know why he's the love sponge.
By the way, yesterday was actually a big milestone for me. It was my 6 years on YouTube yesterday.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
6 years on YouTube. What
200 views.
What do you broadcast on there? What's your handle?
Actually, Jake Hudson. It's on my Twitch channel. But it's usually the boss for the Twitch channel, and I used to do like wrestling commentary and stuff.
Tom loves wrestling commentary. He goes to sleep to it.
So-
Who's your favorite wrestler, Tom?
I can't say it because everybody's going to be mad at me. Let's just say that. Oh, I forgot the number.
But
33.
by the way, you know, here's the thing. This is actually I think the third time I've called into a radio show that streamed on Twitch.
Okay, which of the shows have you been on? You've been on Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Bubba and Steel Toad, and Steel Toad that's now on YouTube.
Steel Toad?
Steel Toad in the morning. You've been on Steel Toad?
Steel Toad.
Is it Steel Toad like the boot or Still Toad like the frog?
Boot.
Steel Toad.
Steel Toad.
I thought it was
I
Steel
thought you were
Toad.
saying Still Toad. I looked at my body. I'm like, yep, Still Toad.
Hey, Dan, what email do you want me to send the information to?
Yeah, just send it to dan@tomandan.com and I'll get you that shirt, okay?
Thank you.
Hold on.
And here's the thing. Uh-oh.
You know, Tom says here's the thing a lot.
Uh-oh.
Tom
Yeah. What, I know what you're doing, Jake.
What are you talking about? Jake's my buddy. You're the one that's being a hard ass to Jake.
No, I've put two and two together through our conversation with Jake, and I see what's happening here.
I'm not doing anything.
Oh, you're gonna get your arms chopped off in the middle of the night.
Hey, Tom, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. If you watch any of my content, I talk about having to deal with the flood. Also,
Yeah, I posted the link in the
Hold on,
Twitch
I'm
chat.
gonna fart. I'm gonna do like a full radio.
Come on.
It's gonna
by the
stink.
way,
No, come on.
He's gonna poop his pants.
Jake,
Oh, that popped in the mic.
That came out faster than I thought.
don't do that.
I'm going full radio.
That's disgusting.
He's a grown man.
I'm going full radio.
Did I accidentally call the Bubba and Luck Fun show now?
Oh, now you're hurting my feelings.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry.
It's fine. No, you're
I had to
fine.
make that joke.
So
It hurt a
Here's the
little
thing,
bit.
It's like, but the thing is, it's like, I love this show. I support you guys. I tweet your stream out all the time.
Yes.
You guys are live. By the way, happy birthday, Richard Simmons.
He doesn't listen.
That was 2 days ago. Yeah. Thank you, Jake. I'll pass it
That
on
was
to him.
yesterday, buddy. That was yesterday. Buddy.
Yeah, that was yesterday, 2 days ago. Even, I think. But happy birthday, Richard Simmons. He was being held captive by his housekeeper.
what made you think of that, Jake?
I put it up on the feed. You're missing a great show.
Here's the thing. Number one, you guys are this is a great show, by the way.
What
I've
was?
also been
It
on,
was a great show.
I know. Hold on, Jake. Now you're trying to butter us up. Because
He needs a bigger shirt.
So here's what I put together. Jake, Bubble Army guy, right? Steel
No,
Toe.
he's a Twitch and Steel Toe in the morning.
Yeah. And those two shows go hard. If I
They
know
do
that,
go. We don't go. We're silly.
We're snowflakes compared to them.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, you guys are the. Here's the thing. I watch you guys. And I'm also following Sam's channel too.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yes.
By the way, I wanted you guys to come on the podcast, and then people kept saying, "Oh, Tom and Dan doesn't do Sam's podcast. Why they do yours?"
Hold on, who says that?
Sam says that. What do you mean? Who
Yeah, he
says
was talking to me.
Who says that? Sam says that.
We
Sam
did
says
semantics at your new studio.
Oh, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was like
And
pre-pandemic.
you guys really didn't want to do it.
No.
I wanted to do it. This guy, he's like, is she going to ask for a free shirt?
What
Kendall
happened?
Hill actually was the one that was telling me this stuff.
Hank Hill.
You know, the cartoon
Kendall
character.
Hill,
Kendall Hill.
You're the fan, the one that your chat a lot. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I think we're done here.
So Jake,
Dan, by the way, this is actually a great time to call in. Did I call in the wrong time?
No, not the wrong time, but
you're good.
Yeah.
Is that who's
We have
on?
another listener that wants to take some of Jake's time here.
Oh, put him on the same.
all right. It's second caller.
I
What's
think
your
it's
name?
Daddy Applesauce.
What's up?
So we have Jake, and Jake. I've been saying your last name wrong. What's your last name, Jake?
S before D. Husden.
Husden. Like, ooh, girl, you've been cheating on your husband.
So caller
Like that.
2.
Exactly.
What say you?
What'd you say? Listen, I was just calling to end this because it was absolutely horrible.
Oh.
No offense, Jake.
Hey, now.
on, how dare
What are
you.
you doing?
Why are you bullying Jake?
Why are you bullying?
He's had a house flood.
Yeah, he flooded. He lost his shirt. The toilet pushed his. The toilet flooded his shirt out the doggy door.
So when your toilet was overflowing, Jake, it was just the bathroom. It wasn't a house flood, right?
It was actually it flooded my whole bedroom. We had to take all the curtains down and everything.
Oh my God! Because the water will touch if your curtains are touching the floor.
Oh, they'll wick it up like a candle.
Yeah, it'll go right up. And if it's poo poo, you'll just see poo poo climbing the walls. It is horrifying.
You use the Bubba shirt there, right?
I'll get you that information, Dan.
Okay, give me the information.
Oh, Daddy Applesauce bullied him right off the phone lines.
You hurt his feelings.
I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye bye. All right, we're both gone. Yeah. It ended horribly because we had another caller call and he bullied him. And he's like, "I'll get out of here. I'm sorry. I should never come here." It made me uncomfortable. Jake, I'll get you a shirt, buddy.
Now, what do you think Jake's scenario is at his house?
Oh, he's got a flooded bathroom. There's turds on the.
Who else is living there?
Mom.
Okay,
mom.
Yeah, okay, mom's living
there.
Grandma.
Or
grandma.
Mom or grandma.
There's definitely a grandma involved, right? There's a grandma.
Well, there was.
Yeah.
She recently passed. Very sad.
All right. Bye-bye.
Do we need to go?
No. Tom wants to bail on this segment quick.
Hey, remember Kratom Carey?
Correct.
Yeah. So he came on the show, and then after he came on the show, he called us up, and he left this message.
Hey, guys. My name's Kerry Edwards, and I wrote a short story about driving a taxi in Orlando during the recession of 2008. Using different personalities to hide my shyness. It's a blast.
There you go.
That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
That was after he came on?
That's after he came on. He called in, and he didn't know where he was. And it sounds like he says Terry.
Yeah,
I think we've been getting his name wrong for like a year.
That's not what it says on his book.
I think it's Kratom Terry.
It's weird that the last thing he said was blast. Because that's the last thing we're going to hear when he comes back.
Like he's the Joker. Like, did you read my book? It's a real blast. Like that. Let's talk about this one. This is just to bully you.
Tom Van for $1 million. Spell restaurant.
Well, you don't have $1 million, sir, but...
The fact that he's taking this long means he can't spell it.
Well, we know he can't spell it.
Hold on. It's R-E-S...
P-E-C-T.
T-R...
No.
Yeah,
it's not restaurant.
Yeah.
No.
That was real. My God. You were gonna calmly spell this and then sail into the distance, and you screwed it up. And now you that was awesome. You know what's awesome?
It's restaurant,
hey,
not restaurant.
You know what's more awesome is that as he spelled it, and then you said wrong, and then I was like, yeah, he's wrong. I was like, is he? Like, I don't know. I'm not a spelling guy.
I was about to point towards the fence.
Point turds. I was about to point turds. Don't point turds, man.
God damn it.
We never
burger I ate it.
I know. I'm too happy now. Remember there was a guy that called in with a voice message in the beginning. He said, F Dan. Let's do that guy.
Oh.
Hey, guys. I kind of got an issue with Dan at the moment. I see him, working out a lot and doing his bike and all that stuff. And, what are you doing, man? I thought we all agreed to just, get fat and wear hockey jerseys and stuff. You're making me feel bad about myself. It's like if Ralphie May lost 300 pounds.
It's not like that.
You're making me feel bad, man.
It's hurtful.
I want to just be fat and lazy. What are you doing?
So apparently I was the equivalent of Ralphie May.
Wow.
That's hurtful.
Yeah.
That's very, very hurtful. I get a lot of email from people that are like, what are you doing?
Oh, they're mad,
your gay little bike and you're up there pedaling.
I agree. When I see other people, that's why I don't like the motivational speakers or the super successful. Like when Rob Dyrdek tells me
Well, I can't take it from him.
No.
I'm sorry just because he's Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah, but when he tells
He makes me angry.
What it takes to be a good businessman, and then he lists off all the things that he does, it makes me mad because I'm like, well, that's impossible to do.
He always does this with his hands.
It's insane.
He always does this with his hands. Where he's got his hands together, he's like, this is the church, this is the steeple, turn it over and find all the people.
Mm-hmm.
So he does that like a hand pyramid, and he's like, every morning I get up at 4 a.m. and I meditate. And then I go and I do a 30-minute bike ride warm-up, and then I do strength training. Then I do another meditation in my hyperbaric chamber. And it's just nobody can do that.
Yeah. Then I do an ice bath. Then I do
nobody does that.
And then
Joe Rogan, too. I see him in his ice bath. And no one should be that red in an ice bath.
He's always red.
No one should be that red.
He can't not be red.
You can be a Joe Rogan fan. I don't care one way or the other. I like him, don't like him. I have no opinion. other than you should not be that red.
See, I want to be red brown. I don't want to be red.
Yeah, if you're Joe Rogan and you're that red and you get in an ice bath, you should turn blue or white, not red. He's bright, inflamed, hot red in the ice bath. I mean, you should be cooling off.
Well, the amount of tea that is flowing through his body, he's got a lot of
sweaty.
tea.
You shouldn't be that sweaty in an ice bath. Like, just literally red sweat.
Yeah. It's just when you describe an insane, like, this is how you be, this is how you're successful.
This is how you be, and this is how I be, dog.
they're like, first, you can't drink alcohol. You have to, fast 12 hours, 3 times a week. Then it's like work out this many times a week, and then wake up at 5 in the morning, and make sure to go to sleep, and don't look at any blue light 3 hours before bedtime, and don't eat.
Miserable.
You're describing something impossible. We're too weak to do that.
It's impossible.
When Arnold tells you how to look like him, like, none of us can do that. Like, I know it's physically possible to get close or whatever it is, but we can't do it. Why are you even telling us?
Yeah, it's too hard.
Yeah. I know David Blaine can explain how to do his magic tricks, but it took him an insane amount of time to train how to do them, and none of us could do that. Like, Tom Brady doesn't need to tell me how to throw or be a successful NFL quarterback. We can't do it.
Yeah.
Quit telling us something we can't do.
It.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Instead of just do it, can't do it.
We got time for one more, I think. One more. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Sean from Vegas. You guys were talking about the really old monk that looked like a scary monster. When I worked at Ruby Tuesdays at the Fashion Square Mall, I was probably like 19, 20 or 20. So like I had this couple that would come in, and they were the oldest couple you've ever seen. Like, and the man was so scary. He was like, I feel like he was at least 7 feet tall. He wore a powder blue suit, and I feel like maybe I'm misremembering it because it was like a scary movie, but I feel like his suit was dusty. His wife was also really old, had that scary old lady face, like from Annabelle. She's, it was the scariest thing. It was the scariest 2 customers I've ever had in my life. And they wouldn't say much. They were just very, he had a really deep voice. And eventually it just freaked me out so much that I had to get someone else to start taking that table because I couldn't even be around them. I thought, like, this is how they're going to look in 15 minutes when they die, but they're now currently walking around and ordering soup and salad. It was a scary experience, man.
Oh.
There is a point where all old people, and I'll see them out, and you're not allowed to make fun of them because you should respect your elders. But I start laughing at things, right? Like sometimes I can't control it. And there is a point where all old men and women get to a point where all of them, I don't care what, like they reach a point where they all look a little yellow and they all smell a little like pee-pee, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're all wearing diapers.
He does bring up a good point. Like, they will look like this when they die because they're close.
Yeah.
So
they could be minutes away. You don't know.
It's the closest to zombies we'll ever get, right? Because they'll look exactly the same after they die, or when they die, and they're old zombies.
Yeah,
they're scary.
You're exactly right. We all know what it's like to have that one. Like, I'm thinking of one right now. I can't say because I have relatives that listen to the show. And he just recently passed. But we had this one relative that would just we'd come to the party or to the gathering, and he'd be in a chair just sitting there, and you'd go up to him and you're like, hey, yada, yada. And they'd be like, oh, my God. I'm like, oh, my God. No, not even that. Just kind of like,
The best is when, like, infants are scared of them.
Yeah.
Because it's the most honest emotion.
Yeah, it is.
It's awkward. It's like, here, baby.
You're near death.
Go to Grandpa, and they're scared.
Zombie Grandpa.
They're scared of him. And then you're like, it's fine. Everybody's pretending like, he cries all the time. He's scared of you, Grandpa, because you look like a zombie.
And old people,
you look scary. You have a scary face.
And old people's clothing starts to get an absorbent amount of little booger stains and little things on it because they have more more
bloods,
death.
It's falling apart.
They got more death juice coming out of their body, so a lot more boogers and a lot more snot. And they carry around little rags. So if you look at their suit, the reason it's not really dusty, it's just it's not being taken care of because it can't.
Yeah, it's falling apart.
Yeah, it's
the
falling
body
apart.
is the suit.
And then so you see a little booger snot here, a little, some like a little. Every pocket on my dad's suit coats when I was throwing them all out or taking them to Goodwill. Every pocket of my mom's, sweaters and stuff like that all had tiny little booger rags in there. Every single one of them. Like there were two piles when I was throwing stuff out of my parents' house. There was one pile of clothing, and the other pile was just of their booger rags.
Bye-bye.